72 with the amazing, all-knowing Sheldon Fogel.
In a new seat.
It looks comfortable.
I'm comfy.
The wonderful son Anthony is also here in the building.
Hello.
Woo!
Weezer Till I Die shirt.
Better believe it.
It's hardcore.
Ride or die. Hardcore.
Hardcore fan for a hardcore band, as they say.
Hardcore man.
Gets no harder than Buddy Holly.
And we have local hot dog vendor and homeless man.
I hear that you're now pushing
Ben
ice cream
Boomford.
cars.
Just try new things, you know.
Yeah, man.
Trying to eat right.
So Sheldon didn't see Once Upon a Time, which makes me mad. We all saw that movie.
I was just being defiant.
It's a dedication because a 3-hour movie is a lot, man. When you're an adult, like I feel like when you're younger, you can just watch a 3-hour movie. Like remember that one time we watched all Lord of the Rings?
I was not there for that, and I'm very happy.
It was us, Gus, Ken, Nick, and someone else.
It made me sick. Like just sitting in front of the TV for that long. Like I was praying for it to be over. Like every time like it faded to black or switched scenes, I was like, please let like the next thing be the credits, and it just wasn't coming.
Your legs stopped working.
Right. And so like a 3-hour movie to do like when you're in your mid-20s and you have a job. And
Or it's the worst when you're watching a movie marathon like that and it's dragging for you, and then you look over and you see Aunt Mick like really in it.
Well,
Yeah.
some people like things more than others, and we're just gonna leave it at that.
Gus watched it?
Yeah, he was.
I picture Gus falling asleep. You know
he
what I
was
mean?
sitting by the
phone.
little fire thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was I'm not gonna get too deep into it. I just want to say that we all enjoyed it. Like the three of us enjoyed it. We think that.
How many
you're
times
gonna
you guys
enjoy
seen it so far?
Once, but I am going to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it again.
Are you guys gonna see it again in theaters or wait later? Because you said you're gonna wait till it comes out streaming. I don't think.
probably-
Well, you know what Netflix did, right? So you know how what's it called, The Hateful Eight? It had 2 runnings in theaters. It had the 70mm and the 30, and the 70 had the intermission break in it.
Yeah.
So Netflix has 2 versions. They have the movie version, and then they have another one that's chopped into
Like
the chapters.
Yeah, it's like episodes.
It's like an episodes, and it has the intermission one in the 70mm format on it.
Well,
Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
I saw an interview that he just did, Tarantino, and he said the new movie could be like that too. Like he could have split it up into episodes, but there's like.
So is it in episodes in the movie, or because you know how like a lot of other ones say like chapter 1 or something like that?
No,
it's
there's no
true.
chapter.
No, yeah, it's
No,
straight.
there's none of that.
Like
But
they-
there's different like
Time.
people character
Or there's like
lines.
dates that they go
Oh,
to.
Yeah.
Which
They
is
hop around
which
dates
is weird
and stuff.
because I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching it, I had like an unclear idea of how like far we were into the movie. Like that's the kind of movie it was. It's like
Could
am
you
I
tell?
close
You
to
just
the
get
end?
lost in there,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't know like whether that it's gonna end or like if it's gonna
Yeah.
keep going. Like,
Did it feel like 3 hours?
no.
For me, it
Nah.
did because I saw it at like 10:30 at night. So
Right, so you're super tired.
Yeah, I didn't get out till like 1:30, and it was just empty parking lot, really creepy, but it was nice. I like how you said, like getting older, I guess. Like
Right.
it'd be nice to bring like a blanket or something and kind of recline and just watch like that, maybe a pillow.
Like
But-
you're in your own house.
Yeah.
Like you're way too comfortable in
Like
the
dude,
movie
there's
theater.
people at these theaters that like take their shoes off.
Oh yeah.
and-
I don't know how I feel about that.
See,
I don't want you to take your shoes
yeah,
off.
but if it's like
They take their shirts
See,
off.
here's the thing with that. If it's like an hour long, if it's like an hour long film, that's just weird. But like a 3-hour movie, you're there for a while.
Yeah, you gotta get
You could
comfortable.
leave, come back, and you're not gonna miss much.
The funny thing about a 3-hour movie or seeing any movie of a great length in theaters is the fear of having to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
You have to make sure that.
Yeah, I peed twice before.
Yeah.
That's the wrong movie to
When you
do.
leave the house and just
I
right
peed
before
in
you
my
go
seat.
in.
Yeah. Shit myself.
He was telling me the story that made me laugh so hard. He said that when he was watching the Dragon Ball Super movie in theater, some guy was eating a salad next to him.
Oh, he had a whole salad. He goes, dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like, that's fine.
Dude, there's nothing worse than watching like the animated films and movies, because then you have people yelling out commands as well, and you're just like, nah.
Oh, the anime movies
Yeah.
specifically. Yeah, people
Yeah.
really get into those.
All the weeboos or whatever.
Oh yeah, weeaboos.
Those
Makes me sick.
Have you ever brought like food into a movie theater that's not traditional movie theater food? Like I remember one time I went with Fran and he had like hamburgers in his pocket. Like he had actually like in his pocket, like zero protection. Like it wasn't in a bag.
No
or anything.
wrapping.
Yeah, it was just inside of his pocket, and I was like,
That's
ew.
weird.
And it was like cold by that point.
Yeah,
You just eat
That's
straight
gnarly.
protein in the theater.
you had ketchup in the other pocket.
Those are empty your pockets.
Squishing his
Dude,
pocket.
it was so
It's like, do
funny.
you want this?
I remember there was an episode of That's So Raven where she goes to the movie theater with her mom, and her mom brings like a huge bag, and there's like food for every occasion. Dude, it was
Like
hilarious.
turkey legs.
Yeah, it's like
Mashed
stuff like that. that. Yeah, it's so
It's like the
fun.
endless bag you reach in, you pull out a full dish.
I was thinking about that so Raven the other day. How come that little like 15-second scene, yeah, with the eye? How come that's not a meme yet? Like, that should be everywhere. Like, am I on the cutting edge that I realize that? Like, you know,
You have to jump on it,
You
man.
might be onto something.
Just get to get those likes.
Patent it.
yeah, man. But I want to ask you guys what you think about the whole ASAP Rocky Donald Trump situation, man.
They should have kept him in prison, let him rot,
I just
throw
think,
him under the
it's
jail.
so funny that he's like, I'm doing this for the African American community. Like, why? Because he's black? Like, is that why?
Dude, Trump's weird, man.
I wish they could have switched people. Like brought ASAP Rocky back and sent him there in his place.
Ooh.
Yeah, trade.
Yeah, 1 for 1. No, like, yeah, I guess he did it, right?
Did he?
There's video of like video that ASAP Rocky put out that was edited.
And being harassed.
Yeah, like they showed only like the harassers or whatever, the two short guys, like hitting his bouncer, and then him throwing him on the ground.
Right.
The
But
bouncer
apparently
threw him
there's-
on the ground, or ASAP
No,
Rocky?
ASAP Rocky did, and just started
Oh.
like hitting him in the face, and so that would, I mean, doesn't look good. But then there's all this other footage that they didn't post themselves, and it was like someone cut him with a broken bottle and shit.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
Someone
yeah.
cut who would have broke? Someone cut ASAP?
No, no, someone from ASAP's group cut these guys with a bottle
Oh, God,
apparently.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So I mean, there's a lot that like we I guess don't know about.
Right.
Two
That we
sides
won't
to
ever
every
know.
story?
Yeah.
They say there's two sides to every story.
Then
Yours,
there's-
mine, and the truth.
Oh. Put that on a That's So
actually
Raven meme.
That's actually right. There's three.
But I doubt he even knew who ASAP Rocky was.
That's
honestly.
what I think is that's what I think is so funny. Like, I'm reading the tweets and like he's making sure to put like the dollar sign in ASAP. Like,
yeah, get back ASAP.
you know, like
Yeah.
is
Say
he
get
right
back
now?
ASAP, ASAP.
Someone
And I
should
was
call
like,
out Donald Trump and be like, oh yeah? Well, what's your favorite ASAP? Or something.
He just starts listening. Like,
Someone put up a meme of Donald Trump. They're like, after these tweets, Donald Trump probably thinks he looks like this, and had like AirPods, a beard, and like, waves. Yeah.
I just think it's weird that like that's the age we're living in, where like the president's tweeting and he's talking about freeing a rapper. Like he literally hashtag like free ASAP. Like
Yeah.
that's like where we are right
so
now.
like, I was thinking like, how I guess the other prolific rapper that was locked up could be like, what's his name, Meek Mill.
Mhm.
Like, what if Barack Obama had tweeted out like free
Free
Meek
Meek
Mill?
I
Yeah.
think people would freak out because
He would probably
In all caps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, like, as weird as it is, if it, like, let's say if Obama was in office and he did speak with the Sweden's prime minister, ASAP probably could have got released like
Yeah.
early, because like, you know, Trump has this very egotistical, braggadocious like
Yeah. But like,
aurora around him, and maybe like, I don't know, some of these politicians probably don't want to deal with him. They'll be like, "Dude, fuck you" or whatever. But even I don't know if you know who Andrew Schultz is, the comedian.
oh, he's like
His friend was in Sweden's jail for
right,
I
because
think
he fought a
year.
bouncer or something.
Yeah, he fought like a bouncer or something.
So there's all these
Is
bouncers.
yeah, I was gonna say, is that what you go to jail for in Sweden? Like,
Bro.
People do that.
fighting somebody whose job is to fight people.
Why do you see these things like these like drunk animals? They pick fights with bouncers who are minding their own business, just making sure everything's going well, and it's just like, the fuck, bro? Huh?
I feel like it's
like so
insecurity.
stupid.
I feel like it's insecurity because you have this big, like, muscular guy, and the muscular guy's like, "Hey, man, keep it down." And you're like, "What? You think you're bigger than me? You can tell me what to do?" And it's just like this. I have to prove myself because you're bigger and stronger than me.
We
So
call
like, I
that
have
the
to fight
Napoleon
you.
complex.
But
Yeah,
then,
no,
and then
that's
like if they
definitely what it is.
actually end up hitting the person, then they get sued and shit. So it's like you're big, but they can't even really do
Yeah,
anything.
they can only move you. They can't
Yeah.
really.
Right, because
Touch you.
then the establishment suffers. Like it's like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
you just knocked that guy's teeth out. Now we have to shut down our restaurant."
I know someone that happened to at Coda,
Really?
the nightclub.
Yeah.
He got knocked out by one of the bouncers out front.
Like
He was
knocked out, like literally
Cold.
unconscious.
Like he was already blacked out, and he was like, in the there's a video of it too. Like it's real bad. He's like, if you knock me out, you gotta let me in. And like terrible like
Phenomenal
proposition.
logic.
Yeah.
That's a great
That's
logic.
so embarrassing. To
Yeah, the
like,
bouncer just cold cocked him and
That's so embarrassing.
fencing.
Pow!
You ever see that? I know you guys have seen that Barstool video where like that short kid's arguing with the bouncer. He's like, "Do you know who my dad is?" Have you seen that?
One bite, everyone is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. This little kid is not this little kid. Like he's like the shorter guy. He's
Oh,
like,
midget
"Do you
in the
have
bagel shop?
No, that's a different one. And dude, what do you think about that video?
I don't get how he's now an internet celebrity.
That's what I don't
Yeah, he's
get.
on the Howard Stern
I feel like
show.
that video portrayed him pretty negatively, and like
Now
everybody-
he's making like he could be making a lot of money off of getting like embarrassed.
I actually followed that story pretty intently. Yeah, I
Why?
did because people were so quick to paint him as this sexist, like crazy guy, short anger, short temper, whatever it is. But no, like this guy is very short, and we live in a very superficial society, and he said himself, he's been bullied, and people never took him seriously, and women were rejecting him all the time, and it's tough doing that. It's tough living like that. So he said that there's like a lady behind the counter like snickering at him, and he's like, he just blew
For
up.
what? Like,
Yeah,
why would she snicker?
that's my thing. Like, don't
Yeah.
you think that that's based out of insecurity? Like, he assumed that she was laughing at him because of his appearance.
He told his whole story. So what the story was, he ordered something and she got the order wrong, and he like kept saying like what it was. She was Indian and she had an accent, so it was a little bit difficult to make the order. So he said, I want this kind of bagel. Bagels. Sorry. He's like, I want this kind of bagel. It's funny how this all revolves around bagels. And she was like, I'm sorry. And he goes, I want this one. And she like started laughing because he was trying to get his point across. And she was like laughing, and he's so used to people snickering at him and stuff like that, and he just blew up.
That's why I
everyone
don't
has
feel
a
bad
breaking
for him.
Me neither.
He was talking about like dating, like you're not dating, you're in a bagel shop.
Exactly,
It's
but
not-
he,
it's
he,
not
went,
the same
he went into like a blind rage. It's so crazy how emotions do that. We black out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that guy like
Basically black
tackled
out,
him.
yeah.
Help at all.
That guy literally came over and tackled him.
So like it's
He's
funny.
like, so what did he say?
He's like, he said, what are you gonna, he said,
No,
attack me?
He goes,
attack me.
and dude, the guy in the back, you don't see him, he goes, enough. I don't think it's funny that he got tackled, but dude, as soon as I heard
Dude,
it,
I think it was funny that guy he got
Cracked
tackled,
up.
bro. He got on that guy's face and he goes, "You're not my boss. Oh my god."
Yeah,
oh my father. So yeah, it's funny because it's such a split thing. You have people that they see him as a hero, they see people who see him as a villain.
I think Ben's right though, because literally probably what happened was he was just like, "Yeah, I'll have ham on rye." She's like, "It's ham on rye," and he's like, "What did you say?" Just like start fighting for no
You call me
reason.
short?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you saying I'm ugly?
You think I'm a freak?
Well, you don't want to date me?
And then it goes on.
That's what he immediately was just like.
Right, I feel like his insecurity it costed everybody, and then. But I understand what you're saying. Like he was in a point of mental instability.
But he's making out, he's making money, he's probably getting girls now.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel bad for him now. Like he has all this attention.
I
Honestly,
still
like,
feel bad.
I'd have him on this
Yeah,
podcast to
true.
explain what happened.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, I
He'll
don't know.
be forgotten about, and then he'll think he's like.
No, dude, he's
some
gonna
internet
make a
celebrity or something.
YouTube song. Like I guarantee.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna make a
Auto-tune
YouTube song.
and-
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
The t-shirts are probably already here.
wanted right.
You're not my god.
You're not
my father. Marcy and that guy collab.
Someone's in the back like, yo.
I guarantee.
Featuring Aesop Rock.
Don't judge me is the song title.
You're not my father.
No, I guarantee that's gonna be a shirt. You're not my boss, my god, or my
And I
father.
guarantee it already is.
Yeah, no,
he
it's-
probably sells them.
It's definitely there.
I just
With his
ordered
face
mine
on
the
it.
other day.
Get
Put it
choked
in the
up.
mail.
What was that? You wanted to run a story by me yesterday. You were like, I want to talk about this. Remember?
Oh,
You want to talk about this? Or you want to talk about that?
Or the other thing.
You can go with this, or you can go with that.
Well, I want this. And I want that.
No, I was just reading about the pension llama, like the whole thing with the Dalai Lama. How
What do you do?
there's been a kid who Chinese government has held captive. No one has seen him since like '96.
Whoa.
Like there's this whole, in their culture, when the pension lama dies, the Dalai Lama has to find him in the world. They basically like put
Like a spiritual journey, sort of.
right. They whoever he gets reincarnated into, and like they do that by just having these items that belonged to the guys, and if a kid recognizes it, then he might be the
The next
pension lama Dalai. Yeah, and there was the whole fight with Tibet and Chinese government like for years, and then Dalai Lama was exiled, and he said that he found the pension lama, but then the Chinese government kidnapped him, and like then no one has ever seen this kid ever again.
Really?
Yeah, and they picked their own like pension lama, I guess, that like is pro government and all this stuff, but
Interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't some crazy stuff happening in China right now too? with the
yeah,
government?
and all the
There's
protests.
protests.
Yeah.
I didn't really look into it.
I'm
what's
sure
going on.
you've been on like Reddit Freakout. You've seen all these videos.
No, where are they,
I saw
they
the
keeping
lasers.
the guy captive?
Well, that's no one has ever seen this kid. There's like one picture of him from like 95, 96, and like that's it. No one has ever
How
seen
do
him
they
again.
know that he's still alive then?
That's the thing.
Okay.
Well, there's like people that give the Dalai Lama information from Tibet, you know, that because he just can't go in there,
Mhm.
and apparently he got word that like the person's alive. He's not a kid anymore, but he's like not the same. I
Is
mean,
he
they-
being held
the
captive,
government,
or
like,
is he part of like?
no, held
their-
captive. Well, captive, I guess. Like he wouldn't even know because he was a kid at the time.
Well, he was
and they
chosen
just,
to be the Dalai Lama.
They
right?
just indoctrinate
Yeah.
you and put you like through all these.
So he's going. So he's probably becoming a monk.
No, that's what they stopped him from.
Yeah, they didn't want him to become the Dalai Lama. They wanted somebody with
Yeah.
an agenda.
That's
that was
basically
more
once they
aligned.
pick you, then you start learning from the monks. But
Right.
since they kidnapped him and took him back to.
So what's most likely happening to this man that's being held? Like, is he in like
No
a
one knows.
basement,
No one
or is he
knows,
like
yeah.
just living in Tibet?
Well, they're probably keeping him like in some small town or something, or
Right.
you know, like a walled off town or something. But
Right.
yeah, they probably like kept him from learning the different practices, you know, that
Right.
a monk would have to learn. But I just find it so crazy that there's like situations like this happening in like in just different countries. The way that like some hold a lot of stake in religious figures and stuff.
It's definitely a result of corruption, considering
Yeah.
that the new one is so in line with what the Chinese government's trying
Yeah.
to push. Like,
Yeah, and like people in Tibet don't recognize him as the true pension lama.
really?
Like, yeah, like it caused this huge divide between like the mainlanders, or I think they're called, like Chinese, and then Tibet. Like
Yeah.
they had a whole civil war over it. It's pretty crazy.
Seriously?
Yeah, like
Dang.
A lot of wars happen over
Yeah.
religion, man. It's
because the Chinese
So-
government is atheist, and
Oh,
Tibet's,
really?
yeah, and Tibet is monks, so
Wow.
Buddhist monks, so they've like clashed and fought each other. And it's just so wild thinking like that seems so far removed from like the life that we live, you know.
Oh, of course, man.
I mean,
That's,
I
this
hope
scene,
so.
what you're describing right now sounds like the premise of a movie. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
even sound real. Like
Yeah.
the chosen one is like locked away, like waiting for his time. to, like,
where's the princess? I'm just waiting for that.
Right.
Played by Keanu Reeves. I thought of something
I would
pretty
see that.
funny. So the Dalai Lama's looking for this pension lama. He flies to America. And there's like a fat kid like playing like video games in his room. He's like 16. He's like, "Fuck you, man! Like I kicked your ass like your mom." And then the Dalai Lama like opens the door, and he's like, "It's you. You're the chosen one." Kid's like, "Huh?"
No. The Dalai Lama reaches into his bag and he pulls out a PlayStation controller. It's the same exact one as the kid has.
Like, there's like grease and stuff. It's disgusting.
It's dripping with like Mountain Dew.
And the kid, in the whole movie, the kid just defers, like he's not in until the last minute where they're getting attacked, and he accepts, and his hair is
All his
gone.
power, yeah.
Yeah.
He gains all his power.
I'm not trying to,
Be
make light of that
disrespectful.
situation,
Yeah.
but I just think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, well, that's my question too. Is like, what
Ancient
constitutes as acceptable familiarity with these objects? Like, if I go, "Oh, Rubik's
Yeah.
Cube, I know how to solve that." Oh,
Well, that's yeah.
It must be the one.
That's the thing. It's like a ball and a stick, like little games and stuff that they just put in front of the kid. And
Yeah, man, that
Kid
is
got
so,
it on first
that's
try.
so interesting.
yeah, he's a ringer.
That sounds like very Star Wars-y.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of the one movie that Jizza sample for Liquid Swords. It's choose the sword,
Yeah.
choose
We
the
were
ball.
talking about it yesterday,
Yeah.
man.
Choose the ball. Join your mother.
Yeah. Now you don't understand my love.
But you must choose.
So cool.
I
Yeah,
love
that's so
Liquid
cool.
Swords, man. I feel like that's
Yeah.
one of my favorite all-time albums.
It is a classic. An absolute classic.
Yeah.
I've seen Jizza, dude, so many times in concert. He just like plays the thing straight through. Dude, it never loses its charm. It's
I
so
remember
much
last time I
fun.
listened to it in full. It's been a while.
It's great,
I
man. It
didn't
really
listen
is
to
good.
I
It just sucks because me
had
and
it
you
on
were,
my iPod.
me and you were talking about this earlier today. Just you make something so great, and then like everything else that follows, people are like, "Oh, I want it like this," or all that stuff. Like the thing is so great that it casts a shadow. Because Jizza dropped. There you go. Jizza dropped all these other albums that are really, really good. He's a very, very, very talented MC. He's undoubtedly the best
It's all about timing. man.
rhymer in
Yeah.
the
You
Wu-Tang
think he's the
Clan,
best in the Wu-Tang?
I think he's the best. He's not my favorite, but I think he's the best.
Jizza?
Yeah, I think he's. Oh, without a doubt, he's the
He's a
best.
genius.
Yeah, he's super talented. Like he has the one album.
You like
Pro
him better
Tools.
than Ghostface?
No, I think he's better than Ghostface. I don't like him better than Ghostface.
Okay.
My favorite's Raekwon.
My favorite's Meth.
That's cool. Meth is
I
cool.
like Meth.
I love it, but dude, it's like Ray, Ghost, just like it's always changing, but Ray is my
Inspector
number one. Expect the Day, he's the most
That's
underrated.
your favorite?
That's cool. That's a cool choice.
I love Inspector Deck.
But just like
You got one,
yeah.
Drew?
No, it's always Ghost for me, man. Like, I just besides his music, I just love his persona. I think it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so funny.
Ghost is so different than how he
Action
was
Bronson
in the.
reminds me so much of Ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of.
Yeah, remember he made a whole
Black
video about
It's
it?
like 8 minutes long.
Wait, really?
I think it's longer.
Yeah,
than
Ghost
that.
Face
Even
made, like, a-
do you listen to Action Bronson?
I do, and I remember there was a response where like Ghost was really, really mad.
Yeah.
Like,
Even
this-
his enunciation of words, it's like
This is
No,
the
their
story.
voices.
This is the story. So Action Bronson was on like ESPN or something,
right,
and
right.
the guys were like, "Oh, Action Bronson, like, yo, man, rap music." He's like, "A lot of people are comparing you to, Ghostface Killer," and everyone's like, he's like, "What do you think about that?" And then Action Bronson's like, "He ain't rhyming like this no more." And then it went, "Oh," and Ghost heard that and was like, "Oh," and he made like an 8 minute. I think it's longer than 8 minutes.
Yeah,
It's like him in his
calling out
house,
Action
and like he's
Bronson.
leaning down
Just
at the camera, like,
threatening
"You
the
never seen that
Teddy
thing?"
Pendergrass playing in the back, so gangster. It's so New York gangster. It's so funny. But what was I gonna
Well,
say?
wasn't he was just like that was his childhood hero? Like he
He's
was a
right.
big
Yeah.
admirer
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Ghostface.
I mean, so like,
which blurs the line between is it influence or is it like mocking? You know what I mean? Well,
It
it's
just-
clearly not mocking
it's-
because he's a good rapper,
yeah.
but it's like how much of it is influence and how much of it is like biting.
I think it's influence because he does sound the same. You can't help
Yeah.
your voice.
Yeah,
You can change your inflection.
Especially when you're growing up at such an impressionable age, and
Right.
then that's the type of music you're listening to.
Mhm.
That's how you're going to learn to talk.
But I also
Like, you're
think
gonna
it's
learn to talk with it.
it's the way that you write and what you talk about. So for example, we were talking about this earlier. I wish we recorded our conversation earlier.
Yeah, we had like a mini podcast before
This
this.
is crazy. So Ghost, like in like
Oh,
the
man,
late
Martin.
'90s, he
Yeah.
would just like rap about like anything. Like he's like notorious for just like literally just like rhyming, and it's just so infectious and like you don't know what the heck he's talking about. So Action Bronson kind of adapted that style where he's like, "I got broccoli tenderloins in the freezer, 2 girls inside of me." Like he kind of raps like that. So like he does sound like Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that comparison. I'm sure
Yeah.
he hears it all the time, but.
It's like a floozy in the jacuzzi,
Yeah.
with the Uzi and the
Yeah. But
She a floozy.
Ghost said it, man, on the
Had it in the jacuzzi.
Ghost said it on the Purple Tape. He's like, "I want no one sounding like me on no album, son." So funny.
Raekwon said it on the Purple Tape.
Yes. Love Purple Tape.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't specifically listen to Action Bronson
Yeah.
like actively. I don't know. And I think it's really cool, but like you said, I feel like everybody's art starts off with some form of what's the word? Imitation.
Yeah.
imitate.
That's what it is.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
maybe he never grew far enough to make a real distinction.
He's also a New Yorker too, man. Like, New York rap in that time in the
Yeah,
'90s. Like,
typical
if you were growing up as like literally, let's say like 10 years old in the '90s, New York rap is at its highest. It was at its peak.
Right.
East
And
Coast
so,
dude.
East
Coast
Coast
hip-hop,
rap was at its peak, and like you wanted to be a part of these groups, like especially Wu-Tang. When Wu-Tang was the Wu,
Mm.
and like people are like, dude, I want to be in Wu-Tang. There's like 40 people. I could get in Wu-Tang. So like you're listening to
You are Wu-Tang.
Ghostface, and then also because it's New York, you can see these people.
Right.
Like you can go to the clubs, you can go to the shows, because everything's so close. It's not like Los Angeles where like it was so spread out.
Yeah.
You know, you have
to
Tupac.
drive.
Tupac's in Compton. Compton is, I don't really know how far that is from Los Angeles, but you know my point.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's a drive. You can't
have
walk.
to drive. Like young, you're talking about kids, like young artists
Right,
who could
kids.
like literally walk to venues
Right.
and like
Mhm.
enjoy that.
Take
sort
the
of
train,
Exactly.
you know, and stuff
I
like
used,
that.
I
So.
used to take the train in the city all the time for concerts before driving. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Whereas on the West
Wu-Tang
Coast,
shows
it's
were
more
crazy back in the
spread.
day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Because you
Just
got to think
fighting all
about.
the time.
House of
Yeah,
Blues.
just the lack of liability. Like now, there's so much liability. It's like you have your ticket online and stuff like that. I guarantee you, back then, people are sneaking in. Like they're holding the door open for people.
Give your QR code.
There is this
Yeah, like
video.
I'm sorry, your QR code's not working. Can you turn the brightness up on your screen? Like we live in an age that's so far removed from that sort of culture. Now it's like a very. I'm sure it's a very Disney World experience concert than it is now. It's like here's the merch table. Like here's this, here's that. Back then it was probably just like there's some guy out front selling T-shirts for
Yeah.
$5.
Oh yeah.
Credit card. Like what are you talking about? Give me
Bro,
$5
give me
cash.
There's
Yeah.
there's this video about going off about like concert security, as you were saying. There was one where you guys may have seen it, where all these people stormed like the fence of Lollapalooza.
Yeah,
Dude.
the kid who got caught. One person got
kid
caught and he was disabled.
he had a fake light.
And I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie, if I was that cop, I'm like, dude,
Just go.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go. Out of all the kids, you
Dude.
stop the
I feel
dude.
bad, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And,
it was
it's
like-
and the kid's
classic.
walking, like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna mimic his walk, but you can hear like,
Yeah.
ting, 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 and the cop's just like,
I didn't hear
He's
anything.
like, come on, pal.
He's just trying to be young and have some fun.
That
And
kid's
he's
doing
going to get
hard.
caught.
Kid's doing hard time.
Dude,
now.
where are his friends at, man?
They're in society.
what I thought was amazing how there was no injuries because everyone's climbing the fence and the
Yeah.
fence falls.
Yeah,
Right,
collapses,
And I'm
yeah.
like, dude, how's there no one hurt? Like,
Yeah, I thought someone was gonna be under it. Like,
where's Lollapalooza? Is that in Chicago? Is that Chicago one?
I thought it was California. I didn't know.
California.
I don't think so. I don't know where Lollapalooza is.
California,
I
way.
don't know. They all have these weird names.
Remember when there used to be like only like 5 festivals, now there's a festival for everything.
Yeah, I want to go to Fire if they ever have it again.
Yeah.
Firefest.
Yeah. And there is fire, and then there was gonna be ice.
No.
That was he was planning 2, so there's gonna be fire and ice. I just learned that recently.
A
Wow.
song of fire and ice.
Oh, that's like, you need to put the
It's
Game
so
of Thrones
dopey.
on.
No, the reason that
So
there's,
dopey.
there's reasons though that there's so many music festivals, and it's because of online piracy. It's like now artists need to go out.
My ticket sales are
Yeah.
dumb
And
expensive.
now artists need to go out and make money.
Even though we just had a little quick segue into Game of Thrones, just get back on it, dude. This is really funny. So Andrew came over for the finale
Oh, yeah.
of Game of Thrones, right? So it was like 10 of us, and he came over.
They know all
He's
about
like, this is gonna be my first episode. If I watch this, and I'll know if I should get into Game of Thrones or not, right? So we're all watching the episode end, and the credits goes, and he just goes up. He's like, "You guys waited all this time for this?" And I barely hear Chris like, "For this bullshit."
I didn't say that, but I said you guys. I was like, wow, you guys waited for that, like, and they
And it was quiet in the
he knows
room.
about it. We had a huge
I was
debate about it.
cracking up.
Oh,
when he
it
said
was
that.
awful.
It was
You guys
terrible.
were. You
I was
guys were
pissed
so
off.
quiet, yeah.
All hail Brad the Broken. First of his name.
I don't know, man. Like,
He's like, "I don't want it." Okay, I'll take it.
I'm a Game of Thrones hater, man. That's just my ID when it comes to Game of Thrones. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's not my thing. I think I have legitimate criticisms about it, but I'm hearing both sides. So like Ant's telling me that like it's a good story and stuff, and then of course the hands of creativity changed, right? The team was gonna go work on the Star Wars movie, so apparently they were rushed or whatever, and the ending was what it was.
So what allegedly happens that HBO and George R.R. Martin,
Mhm.
they wanted it to continue, obviously, because
Mhm.
George hasn't done the books haven't been released yet. So he said that he came out and publicly stated that this could go on for like 3 more seasons, like 10 episodes.
Quick question, Ben, do you watch this?
I've never seen Game
Oh,
of Thrones.
okay. So you're-
Dude,
So-
you never watched Game of Thrones?
you're in the same boat that I'm
Yeah.
in, pretty much.
I'm
So-
not Throny, bro.
So obviously D&D, they were approached by Disney to do Star Wars. Who would say no? No one's ever going to say no to that. You
No,
would
no,
say
thanks.
Star Wars suck.
Okay, but that check doesn't suck. I'm not gonna lie. That check is pretty handsome.
Dude, make a movie about space. I'd make a movie about dragons, dude.
Space is stupid.
So-
Space is dumb.
So as we all know, that they strayed away from the books, and then they had an idea how it was going to end,
Right. So
and they rushed it.
So I never liked Game of Thrones from the beginning. Any show that people are like, you have to watch. Like Breaking Bad was the only one that I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot, and I liked it.
Yeah.
I gave this a shot, and I was like, I don't like it. But any show that people are like, you have to, and they won't stop talking about it, I try and make the opposite opinion right away.
Well, because you got to remember, Breaking Bad was an original piece, so they knew where they wanted it to end. Whereas Game of Thrones, it's still going.
My
so they were
theory.
fine. It's a great adaptation
Yeah.
until it became its own, and once it
Right.
became its own, it wasn't that
Well,
good.
anytime something strays away from the source material, obviously now the intention is not to be artistic.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier. It's to be more like monetary. Like we have to continue it because people are watching it.
Right.
It becomes soulless, and people right away know like, all right, there was no effort put into this, and it just
Right.
loses its charm. So I think that when a series suffers from that, it's not worth my time, and people get mad when I say that.
Mhm.
That's the truth, man. So
Truth hurts.
I mean, there's 2 sides to every story.
That's the theme of this podcast.
That would be 3. I know. I just keep saying it.
They're side the truth. Choose one. Game of Thrones kicks ass.
Yeah.
On the record.
I mean, you guys obviously really like it.
HBO's doing really well with their new shows now.
Euphoria.
Euphoria's phenomenal.
Oh, Sheldon, I'm almost done Deadwood.
The movie or the show?
The show.
Did you watch the movie yet?
No, I'm waiting for it to end. I don't know anything about the movie, so don't say
Show. I haven't watched the show in a long time, but the show was good.
Yeah.
Same thing with Oz. I really liked Oz. Oz was good.
Oz was the first HBO show.
Yep.
I watched that one. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Oz was good. They have Watchmen coming out, which appears to be good. But the creator of Watchmen said, don't watch it because they're not following my material. And then I'm like, well, that kind of puts me in a hard spot.
That's
now.
Alan Moore, right?
Yeah.
And what is this, like a prequel to the movie?
No, their own adaptation.
Yeah, man.
Ugh.
And I'm like, that puts me in a hard spot because
Yeah.
I love the movie, and the comic is really good.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of HBO and all that they do. They do, pretty good job. with
Everything's a
their-
knockout.
Chernobyl.
It's cool,
Chernobyl was
man.
good.
Is that what you're watching?
No, I finished it.
Chernobyl's
It's
really
only
good.
5 episodes?
5 episodes.
Yeah.
Hour and 10
It's the
minutes.
highest rated TV show on IMDb of all
Ever.
time.
Alex was watching and I saw a few episodes. I'm like, this is pretty messed up. Like when you
Dude,
really find
it's
out about, like,
intense.
what
It's
happens.
really intense.
Mm-hmm.
What else they got coming out? Westworld season 2 comes
season
out.
2.
No, I thought it's season 3 now, right?
Sorry, season 3.
Yeah,
Sorry.
They definitely did season 2.
So season 3 comes out.
You like that show?
It looks cool, but I think it looks really cool. But I don't know. I have so many other things I have to see, and that's really not on there. But it looks really
I'll
cool.
say if you have time, give it a try.
Dude, the list.
But the
it's
thing
a
is,
long list.
it's just like Game of Thrones. There's a lot of characters. It's very in depth. But
Yeah.
I like it a lot better in Game of Thrones because it's more modern. There's a lot more,
Yeah.
like technical. Westworld,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good show.
I think it's cool.
I was
Did you
watching.
watch The Night Of? Did you watch that one? About the Pakistani kid who was wrongly accused of murder
Oh, and the taxi.
in a taxi.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
That came out a while ago.
The OG was good too. That's with I can't remember the actor's name. Jeffrey Wright.
I'm thinking of the last OG, Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
Show's pretty
Show's
funny.
fun.
Yeah, that show is pretty funny. I'm impressed by that. What show did you say you were watching now? Because I am curious as to what you watch specifically.
What are you
Well, the
watching?
show Snowfall.
Oh, on
Oh,
FX.
FX? Yeah, I saw a commercial.
Dude,
It's good.
oh, it's great. But I think it's the second
It's
season.
dumb.
So good. One of the episodes I was watching had Elijah's mom's song in it.
Nice.
It was like they're at a roller rink and
She's gonna get that check.
yeah,
I
I
was
was,
gonna say-
like, that's what I was thinking. Like,
It's a nice royalty to it.
It's interesting. People get royalty checks like every time the episode airs. They
Mhm.
get a little bit of money. Like, dude, that's crazy.
Imagine if the show's syndicated too.
Right. That's so wild.
Didn't we have a teacher growing up whose like son was in Kramer vs. Kramer?
Yeah, Mr. Girardi. His son was in Kramer vs. Kramer.
Yeah,
He said they
always
still get
talks about the
checks.
checks.
They
Yeah.
still get checks.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But yeah, Snowfall is a great show if you haven't seen it. It's like about how the CIA brought crack into the like black communities
Mhm.
and like the West Coast and shit.
Really?
Yeah, it's really.
In
I mean,
the 70s, 80s.
late 80s.
80s,
Yeah. Yeah.
Crack
but-
epidemic.
Yeah, because they were trying to fund this war in Nicaragua, so they were selling coke pretty much. The government was.
It's big.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are the two big genres of entertainment right now. Like
Drugs.
drug cop shows,
Like history adaptation.
and then for movies, space. There's so many space movies out right now.
There's a new one coming out with Brad Pitt. It looks pretty good. I can't remember the name.
I,
of it.
I saw the
It's
trailer
called
for that
drugs in
one.
space. He's a drug dealer in
So
space.
that's
The
where
movie's, the movie's called Space Cops. It's about
pull
these
over.
policemen in space trying to crack down on drugs.
That's right. Dude,
But
that's
no,
right.
I don't know what the obsession is with outer space, but there's so many space movies out right now, and
It's-
I feel like
it's unknown, bro.
they're all the same. Like
Well,
it's all the
we've had
same.
I don't
sci-fi
know, bro.
forever, right?
Yeah, what
Since
else can you do
in the
in space?
50s, there's been sci-fi.
I feel like the only good one I really liked was The Martian. Like
Interstellar.
that was
You know, like
awesome.
Interstellar.
No, Interstellar was my favorite movie of all time. But that like goes
Okay.
beyond space movies. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
just
an amazing movie
phenomenal.
in general. But I feel like a movie where the space is like
Martian
space
was
is the
cool.
theme.
I just have it's like a weird thing I have. Like sometimes when like just one person to push a whole movie,
Matt
it can get hard. You know, because like totally different. Like it was a good movie,
Yeah.
but like there are moments in it you're just like, oh, if there's like just a little more life to it, then just I don't know, just if it was a little fleshed out in some parts.
Like to
But-
rely just on one person, pretty much.
It can be hard. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like I Am Legend. A lot of people didn't like I Am Legend because it's like, oh, this is literally just Will Smith in the movie.
See, I feel like when you're doing a survival movie, it works because you're supposed to identify in that situation. The whole time you're supposed to be like, what would I do in this
What
situation?
would
Like
you do?
Castaway, right?
Yeah.
Where he goes crazy and he knocks his tooth out and like he's talking to the ball.
The
Like,
That scene makes me laugh.
Castaway also, a lot of movie also was like back what other people were
Right, well,
doing
there's
while
always
he was
going to be
away.
other characters, but the majority of it is this one person trying to survive. And I feel
Right.
like you as the viewer, you're like, what would I do in this
In this
situation?
situation.
That's the whole entertaining thing. It's like you
Right.
get to see like what somebody would do. You
Yeah.
know, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, so there's that movie coming out. I don't know if there's another space movie coming out or another big one that's supposed to be like hailed as.
We need more space movies.
Those are
We
my-
need more space movies.
Those are my favorite.
The producers in Hollywood.
Yeah, the space movies now and monster movies are making a comeback. Like,
Monster.
yeah, like there's a King Kong movie, like, and now there's gonna be King Kong versus Godzilla. Like, I feel like that's purely for spectacle because you have to think about it like
It has a
this.
fan base.
But no. Look at it like just in terms of movies, right? There's never been a movie where King Kong's like that big. He's climbing up a building.
Yeah.
So like He's big, but like in relative size to his environment.
To a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godzilla just like steps over buildings.
Yeah.
So how are they gonna make a movie with Godzilla versus King Kong? Like, is he gonna eat like a mushroom from Super Mario and get like really big? Like,
Unless you do
it's-
like the King Kong from like Peter Jackson, because he was massive in that one, wasn't he? Or was that just relative to where he was?
I don't remember watching that, but I guess my point is that like, same thing with Batman and Superman. Like now it's just like, what do you guys want to see? Like, do you want to see like, do you want to see Godzilla versus King Kong? All right. You want to see
Yeah.
Batman fight Superman? Like, okay. I feel like that's where we are with movies right now.
Right.
Godzilla versus King Kong in space.
In space.
High off drugs.
They're both cops. They're both cops from rival syndicates. And
Brad Pitt is King Kong.
Matthew McConaughey is the pilot.
I don't know, man.
Alright.
I just remember that we were in the movies watching what we were gonna watch Once Upon a Time, and dude, every preview we saw was terrible. Like, do you remember that?
What'd you say? Do you remember?
Okay, first off, this is what I want to talk about. Gemini Man. Like,
Will Smith movie, right?
I said this the other day. I said this the other day over text, and yeah, Aunt was laughing, and I said, if anyone's excited for this movie, I need to know why. Like, why I want to hear what part of the trailer
Dude,
made me excited.
I don't know why Will Smith keeps taking bad movies.
Because he gets, dude, I guarantee,
It's crazy.
I guarantee that the budget for this movie is just silly. Like, if
Yeah.
I heard it, it'd make me so angry. You know?
It was like an advertisement for his kid's album, like Jaden Smith.
Oh, his song was in it.
Yeah, the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it
I
Icon?
didn't pick
Icon,
that up.
wasn't it?
That's so
Yeah,
gross.
Icon with like, I don't know. Did not look interesting.
But it's like when was like the last good Will Smith movie? 7 Pounds?
I didn't see that.
Pursuit of Happiness.
That was also, I think that was before.
Was it?
Yeah, 7 Pounds is where he gives like his organs to 7 strangers.
Oh God.
Wow, that was a good movie. That was a sad.
No, everyone talks about that movie, and then what? The concussion one, right? That he did?
I heard that was terrible because he had a terrible South African accent.
Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
What?
Yeah. I'm a doctor.
They have concussions.
Practicing that in like his dresser room or something like that. That's hilarious.
In the mirror. Like,
Practice.
shadow box.
And he's like, no, no.
See, that type of stuff takes me out of movies, like bad accents.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say with Django. Like, I watched it was such a great movie,
You
but
had a bad
then
accent.
Quentin Tarantino at the
Oh,
end when he's
the
like trying to be
Australian?
Australian guy, it just immediately took me out of the movie. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
it was like a joke at that point. It was
Yeah.
like funny. Like,
Yeah, but that was
Type of
like
shit.
for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
no, he was in it. and He was like,
I think that
"Y'all
was the-
crazy, y'all."
I think that was the intention though, to be a real goof,
Yeah.
a
be
real
hokey.
spoof.
Yeah, he does that in other ways. Like,
Leonardo DiCaprio had a really good southern
Oh
accent.
my god, dude,
Yeah.
that's his best
That
role.
was
I'd argue
You think
that's his
that was
best
his
role.
best role?
Absolutely, yeah. Oh yeah.
really.
I would,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I
dude.
mean,
He was on fire in that movie.
what do you
we
think?
could run a list. We could run a list.
He won for The Revenant, right?
He did.
He did. He won for The Revenant, so we got The Revenant, his character in Shutter Island.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I'm a highly
You know
appointed
what,
federal
man?
marshal.
Dominic in Inception.
You know what? I think he deserved to win The Revenant because there's really not a lot of dialogue in that movie.
Such performance.
Well, like, his character just goes through excruciating pain.
Yeah.
the whole movie is him suffering.
Yeah.
Like,
And
teaches
it's
someone
pretty
to walk.
believable,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the bear scene without the CG. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's pretty convincing, you know?
They had a guy who was wearing like a helmet, right?
Yeah,
And he was
yeah.
like pretty much just wrestling him around.
He's just
As a bear.
But yeah, so I feel like a lot of acting is nonverbal. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna win an award, it should be for that. Like, actually, you know.
It was a good movie though.
Mm.
It's an entertaining
Dude, that movie is amazing.
Yeah, it's a
But
good movie.
you're right. Like, Leo's pretty good. I feel like
My favorite movie he was ever in might be Inception.
yeah,
I love that movie.
yeah. Inception.
Catch Me If You Can, he's really good in.
Oh yeah.
You know which one was so
Forgot about that one.
Which one?
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I
Mhm.
forgot The Wolf of Wall Street. He was really good in that.
I was just talking about. I haven't seen that movie.
It's on Netflix.
Wow.
It's on Netflix now.
It's a
It's been on
3-hour
Netflix.
movie, dude.
Yeah, it's
Oh, dude,
3 hours.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
In
I
for
might just
long
watch
haul.
it today.
Dude, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, no, I was just listening to like Jordan Belfort like on a podcast, and that's what got me interested in it.
Leo's a better Jordan Belfort than Jordan Belfort is Jordan Belfort.
Leo's a better everything than anybody.
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort's net worth is like negative $100 million.
We listened to that podcast.
Which one?
The Church of What's Happening Now. They talked.
Oh, yeah.
They talked about that. Like they look up his net worth and it's negative.
And they just start laughing.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it is.
What did Joey say about that?
He was just like, he's kind of spinning it like as an underdog story. He's like, oh, you can come back from anything, dog. Like this guy's worth. Look at his net worth, negative 100 million.
Gary Vee sitting next to him. Those hours you're asleep, you gotta do something.
I love Gary Vee, man. I feel like he empowers a whole bunch of people that are like shouldn't be empowered. Like they kind of look at him and justify their bad entrepreneurship as like, well, Gary Vee does this. It's like, no, but you're nowhere near that level of discipline. You know?
I'm gonna watch Inception today.
I never saw it.
I just want to listen to the Inception soundtrack.
I have it. I have the Christopher Nolan collection on Blu-ray, so if you want to borrow it.
I would love that.
I want to backtrack to Leo because I think he's just an all-around good person because he won the award for The Revenant and dedicated a speech to raise awareness for global warming. Yeah,
Yeah, he's been doing that for a long time
environmentalist,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Wasn't he starting off like by?
Is he good in Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
Is he good?
Yeah.
Or is Brad better?
He's so good.
So you got to think about the premise of Once Upon a Time. Not to get too
Some of the
spoilery.
scenes I was like tearing up.
What for Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like.
For Leo? Or
yeah,
was it
just so
Brad?
bad.
It's like
Is it-
actor Inception. You're watching an actor act.
That's
in
exactly
it,
what I was gonna say.
Dude,
like,
and he kills it. It's
you-
really
yeah.
good.
Which is really difficult to do. Like he's an actor who's playing an actor in a movie. So like a lot of scenes, like you're watching someone watch a movie.
Yeah.
And it's really really interesting just to
Right.
like get to that headspace. And
Right.
dude, he nails it. And I know why you're tearing up because there's some scenes where
Right now.
It's alright. We need to get some tissues on the table.
It's gonna be okay, man. But there's some scenes that like you can just tell, man. There's so much angst behind what he's saying.
Is Brad good in it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
He's
Very cool.
he's a little nonverbal. Like he kind of plays a strong but silent type, but
Yeah.
you get to love his character right away.
Yeah,
Right
it's
away.
a kick
I
ass.
heard the casting of Bruce Lee. The guy looks like,
Mhm.
just like.
It's funny, yeah.
So there's a funny story about that. That guy, like he went to Hollywood to be like an actor and it didn't work out. And so he went and started like a martial art dojo in a completely different state, like far away from LA.
Right.
And he was just known as like looking a lot like Bruce Lee. So Tarantino like reached out to him.
That's good. That's a dope story though.
Yeah,
Like,
Tarantino reached out to him and he came back to because I was watching Tarantino kind of like had this inside the actor studio thing where they all went to go read the script for Once Upon a Time in his house. And so he's just this guy that runs a dojo, and he gets invited to Tarantino's mansion in L.A. And he walks in, there's like Brad Pitt and like all these people, and he's like, "What the heck am I walking?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he had no idea. He was just like, "Dude, are you serious?" And they're just like, "Yeah, so we want you to be Bruce Lee." And he was just like, "Sure, like of course, like
Yeah.
whatever you need me to
It's
do."
like, no.
Is he in the movie?
I
Is he in the movie
refuse.
a long time, or is it like short?
Like one scene.
It's one scene, but as Aunt and I were talking about, his daughter's like really upset
Yeah.
with like how he was portrayed. And I don't want to spoil too much, but like
His daughter in real life?
yeah, his daughter's upset at how Bruce Lee was portrayed in this movie. And
Oh,
to say that there was creative liberties taken is probably an understatement, but it's
Yeah.
a work of fiction, right?
It's a Tarantino
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be funny.
Right, because it's just their actual.
I think that's what
person existed,
Tarantino-
you know?
Yeah.
I think he does that pretty well for like even with Inglourious Bastards. These are the two that I can think of who are like somewhat in realistic
Mm-hmm.
periods of time, and he puts his spin on it.
Right.
I think he's really good at doing that.
That's what's fun about it.
But you could portray Hitler in any way. Like people don't mind. And
Right.
media's
But
media's
people were like, "Oh, he killed Hitler in the movie, but Hitler doesn't die until a couple years after." It's like, dude, that's not the point.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a movie, but it's just like we
Yeah.
only care about the portrayal of people that like we admire. We don't
Right.
care about anybody that's like demonized. You know?
I think that might be Brad Pitt's best movie, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah.
I think that was his best.
Might be. Here's that new one coming out.
The
Space,
one.
yeah.
It's gonna be incredible.
So I'm curious as to why you said that. If you could,
So I saw it on Twitter. So on Twitter, it was
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah, it was being debated. They said if you could have one movie to be removed from, it was out of the four.
No cultural impact.
No
just
cultural
movie on
impact,
its
no
own.
sales impact, just movie for movie. It was four. It was Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, and Django, which is the one that you get removed. And I was reading I was reading a lot of responses. I was reading like a couple hundred, and people were like, it was split everywhere. People were saying Pulp, other people were saying Kill, some people were saying Django, some were saying Inglourious Bastards. So I asked Ben because in just a little chat that we have for like traveling, I asked him because I knew that he would probably be the only one who had any
Who
like
would
substance, like, or answer, or you've seen adequate enough Quentin
I've
Tarantino
seen all of
movies
those, yeah. but-
numerous times. You could probably give an answer.
Yeah.
And me personally, I said out of all those 4, I might have to get rid of Pulp. Just because movie for movie, I like Kill Bill a lot. I like the revenge story. I like that it's an icon. Like, once again, I'm saying iconic, but that fight scene in the Japanese restaurant. Me personally, that's one of my favorite fight scenes I've seen in a movie.
You're talking about the one with the schoolgirl has like the mace
Yes.
and stuff? Yeah.
Yes, and it's flat. It's going between black and white, and the blood's red, and then it goes back to color.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. Inglourious Basterds. There's so many moments. The movie starts off. The first 5 minutes, it's just a dialogue conversation. Yeah. So tell me, are they in the basement?
Yeah.
And he's like, just give it a nod or just shake your head.
Right.
And then they come in, light up the basement. You see the girl running down the road, and the guy's like, like, we'll get her.
Yeah, that's one of the best starts to a movie.
Exactly. That's one of the best starts. And then that moment where they hijack the Germans, and when they bring out the bear Jew, just that moment, like that sense of dread coming.
Right.
Or like, introducing
Or
huge
even the
stigmas.
scene in the German pub where they were talking, and he gives an incorrect sign for the number 3 in German, and then they have a shootout. There's so many moments. Django, so many moments in that movie that I'm just like, dude, this is hard. Like, and it's not like an easy decision. It's just like, it was hard.
Right.
But if I was to get rid of one of the 4, it might be Pulp.
So wait, why?
But it switches between Pulp and Kill Bill.
Why? What was the context? Getting rid of it for what reason?
It was just a movie debate. If you had to
eliminate
remove
one
one
that never existed,
and take away its impact, take away its finances, just movie for movie, movie versus movie.
It'd be a toss-up between, in my opinion, it'd be a toss-up between Kill Bill and Django. Because Kill Bill is just Tarantino's take on
Kung Fu.
Yeah, martial arts, kung fu. It's cool. It's an empowering story. It's a great story. I think that movie's really underrated. I don't think anybody talks about it. But again, it's not like this like super deep movie. It's not really significant because a lot of the things that happen in that movie has kind of already been done. Again, it's just Tarantino's take on it.
It's a little over the top too. Like,
yeah. Oh, it's silly. Yeah.
Right. But still, that's for movies for entertainment. It's a highly entertaining movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
yeah.
it's awesome. But
it's probably my favorite.
It's a really good
Tarantino
movie.
movie.
Really? Yeah. That's cool.
Because it's one of those movies that you can put on and like, okay, so for Pulp Fiction or let's say...
Before you go into that, Kill Bill Part 1 and 2 is considered like one movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how he gets around the whole 10 film thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he could still make a part 3, I guess.
Or he could make 2 more movies after this. Well, because they're considering this one his 9th. Because it even says on the poster, the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I mean,
so, hopefully his last movie's not Star Trek. But I'm not going to be
He's
mad.
only directing that. So I think it's, in order for it to be in the 10, it's written and directed. Like Jackie Brown, I wouldn't consider a Quentin Tarantino.
10 is supposed to be the final one?
Yeah,
10's final.
that's what he
you don't
said.
consider Jackie Brown one?
Because he only directed it. He didn't write it.
What about Dawn?
Dusk Before Dawn? He didn't write that. He just.
So what's the 9? So we have Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Reservoir
then we have
Dogs,
Reservoir
Pulp
Dogs,
Fiction.
Pulp,
Natural
Glorious.
He wrote that. He didn't direct it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one with James Gandolfini?
No, that's
Django.
True Romance.
And what's the other 3 then? I can't think of the other 3. Once Upon a Time, that's 7. What's the
Hateful
2
Eight?
more? Hateful Eight, 8. And what's the 9th one? It has to be one of the ones
we
that...
said Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider Jackie Brown.
So he has to be considering Jackie Brown as like his then.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Or True Romance.
Oh yeah, I never saw that one.
It's good.
I have it on
But,
DVD.
Surprisingly. That too, yeah. But yeah, I was saying I would give up probably Django, honestly.
I give up Django too. As much as I love it, I give it up.
Like I don't know. It's just it's
The reason why it's hard for me to get rid of Django is because there were so many moments that like, well, I don't know if it's like a race thing, but you're watching and you're like, fuck.
when he gets popped off the horse.
No, like
blood
the
goes on
Mandingo
cotton
fighting,
shit.
when you're watching
Oh,
Mandingo
yeah,
fighting, and
that
the guys are
sucks,
just like
man.
sitting there like, they're not even fazed by it.
Mhm.
And
It
I'm
sucks,
just
yeah.
like,
It's like accurate,
fuck.
you know, like
Yeah,
shit like that.
like, that shit's
That's what I
happening.
respect about Tarantino because people always like
Yep.
he came on the Breakfast Club and they were saying like you're used to the N word and stuff.
Mhm.
He was like, well, people actually said it back then, like,
Right.
so
Well,
I'm not
what
gonna
about-
act like no one said that. Like,
What about in Pulp Fiction when he's Jimmy and Dead End Storage? Like, what do
Yeah.
you think about that? Like,
yeah, I
It
don't
was
know. That
jarring. When you first heard it, I was
Yeah.
like, well, that was a little
Yeah.
necessary. Like,
It was.
but like at the same time, you try to think like, is that a real conversation? And it's like, I don't know if anyone would say that in
Because
front of a
it's-
cold-blooded killer like
Right, I
Samuel
think it was-
Jackson.
yeah, I think it was just
I forget the
I think he
context.
was that
You guys
distraught.
refresh me. Like,
so he blows Vincent Vega, John Travolta's character, accidentally shoots Marvin in the face.
Right.
And then the car is just filled with blood, dude.
Yeah.
So they have to get it off the road. Sam Jackson's like, yeah, get this thing off the road. So,
Yeah.
it's so classic. And they go to Jimmy's house, which is we don't know. We just know that he's associated with them. That's what I love
Right.
about that. We
It's
don't know.
Tarantino.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
Quentin Tarantino. And then Quentin Tarantino is just like distraught. He wakes him up. He's in his bathrobe. So I think again, like with that little guy, full circle, his emotions got the best of him. And he's like, you see a sign that says Dead Ed Storage. He's like,
Yeah.
because housing Dead Eds ain't my fucking business.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so
Like,
funny.
I think it was the juxtaposition of like
Yeah.
him saying that with, like you said, like cold blood and like
Right.
Samuel Jackson next to him. Like
Yeah. He was
that
whatever
distraught.
relationship these two had is like something that they don't explain, but you don't even really need them
Yeah.
to
Right.
dive
That,
into.
that's why
it.
it's like
The Bonnie situation. That's what it's called. That's the chapter.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Bonnie
yeah. When
situation.
Bonnie gets home and sees this.
I'm gonna get fucking divorced.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get fucking.
You don't have to tell me how good my coffee is. I buy this
I
stuff.
I buy the gourmet.
But yeah, I
Dude,
just
I want to
think
watch Pulp Fiction right now.
I mean, yeah, it's.
no, Pulp Fiction is a like I don't want to get rid of any of the movies.
I can't name another movie that is like Pulp Fiction.
Well, what got me is that you said getting rid of the impact too. Like I feel like if you got rid of
Like
the
you have to
impact,
take the impact away because
Yeah,
if you
see-
keep the impact in there, then obviously Pulp Fiction has to stay.
Yeah, because I feel like that movie's impacted more than probably the rest of the films.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, it probably has. Because but at the same time, Kill Bill has a lot of cultural
Right,
impact
that's what I
for
was-
animated stuff.
That's what I was gonna say. That scene you were talking about
yeah,
in the
that
bar,
scene is referenced a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like in
Oh, yeah,
Family
that's
Guy,
right. Yeah,
American,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
these, like that scene is in a lot of pop culture. Even the music or that song,
Yeah.
like it's in a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Django is probably not referenced that much because that's a hard movie to reference because there's a lot of stigma involved with it.
Mhm.
But that movie's
I mean,
phenomenal.
that scene where the end where he's finally just taking out everyone in
Yeah.
the house and he's
Dope,
hiding
dude,
under
that
bodies.
scene's
Like,
dope.
that's a crazy scene.
Yeah,
That alone is good enough for it to be like up there with his best movies. But
those two other movies they don't get referenced as much as Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill do. I think Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction, out of his catalog, and Reservoir Dogs are his most referenced movies.
Right.
yeah.
Like, if you could hear in any show, they say, "Oh, Mr. Pink." If they're saying,
Yeah.
calling someone by a color,
But you know what?
Mr. Pink, Mr.
Why do I gotta
Black,
be
you know where
Mr.
that's
Pink?
coming
That's
from.
that's my least favorite movie. Out of all
I
of
think
these.
that's
Reservoir
my
Dogs.
favorite.
awesome.
That's
Kicks
my
ass,
favorite
dude.
Quentin movie.
Kicks ass.
Reservoir Dogs your favorite?
Dude, I love that movie so much.
I-
'Cause that diner scene,
Yeah.
and then also the reveal at the end when he's the cop, and you find out he's the
Mr.
cop,
Orange,
and,
yeah.
you, the viewer, feel betrayed. You're like, holy shit. Like, and then they do his back, and they do his what's it called? His backstory, and then you see him just in the mirror practicing how to get the accent, how to get the lingo, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then the guy at the end of the movie, the cops are coming in, he's holding a gun to his head, and then you don't really know what happens.
Yeah, but I think just keeping Pulp Fiction just because. I mean, what other movie has told a story like that? Like.
I
in
just
that
don't like
sequence-
that Wallace
he-
part, dude. I hated that.
What do you mean?
chapter.
What do you
Mia
mean?
Wallace?
Not Mia Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace?
Marcellus Wallace.
Why, dude? That's a huge part in the story.
Dude, I just thought, like, I don't know. I didn't really like Bruce Willis's chapter in it.
Oh no way, dude!
Out of the
That is a
whole-
great.
all the whole
awesome
film.
No,
part.
I have to agree with Ant. Like that was my favorite part.
Wait, what part of him?
In
When
the-
he's going to
the-
get the watch, or
The store when he goes to the store and
Oh,
sees.
with Zed?
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. When he frees
crashes-
them, when they're
Yeah.
trying to kill each other, then he frees them, then they get out, and it's like the respect thing.
right? Yeah.
I was like,
bring out the gimp. That part.
yeah. But I was like, okay. But I more so wanted to see more of Sam Jackson and Travolta.
Yeah.
And then when Travolta gets killed by Bruce, I really hated Bruce. I don't know, because I'm not the biggest Bruce Willis fan, so I guess
Yeah.
it was just like one of that, like, I don't really want to
He
see
was
him.
like
Leave
the
that bias
anti-hero.
at the door, my friend, because that
No,
is
'cause-
an awesome character so
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's
it
a
was
boxer.
cool, but it was just like,
He's a
okay.
boxer. He's agreed to take a dive. He ends up winning the fight. Now he's hunted.
Killing the guy.
Yeah, he ends up killing the guy. Now he's hunted. And now they meet up in this hilarious Tarantino circumstance. They end up fighting in the store. Then the two are down in the basement. Then they have to join together.
To kill
Dude,
a cop,
dude,
like.
Bruce Willis'
Yeah.
character could have left him to die,
Yeah.
but he went back
So
there.
that's actually the
I'm
scene.
saying
That's
it's
actually
just that
movie.
bit that I was like, I didn't really care for.
It's so opposite because that's the scene that made me fall in love with Tarantino movies. I'll never forget this. I probably saw this movie when I was like 14 or 15, but like
When was the last time you watched it, you think?
I'm gonna watch it.
2008.
2008 is the last time I watched
So-
it?
Yeah, so
It's
like
probably been close to that time the last time I watched it.
yeah, I saw. I definitely have to rewatch it, but I'll never forget the scene because this is the scene that made me fall in love with just his ideas and the direction that his movies take.
The scene that made me fall in love with that movie and Quentin Tarantino was just the part where when he was talking about with the burger, and then he opens the briefcase, and we never knew what was in the briefcase.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
never found out what was in the
With
briefcase.
the gold.
Just the gold shining light.
Yeah.
You see the
I was
band-aid on
like,
the back
yeah.
of his neck?
Yeah, I was like, what?
He has a band-aid on the back of his neck, and they say that was his
His
soul.
soul, yeah.
in the box.
Dude, what's the part that you said?
so the part is Bruce Willis now knows that there's like some sort of like BDSM like crazy thing going on downstairs, and he doesn't know what to do. He knows that he has to grab a weapon and like see who's down there. Like he has to face
Yeah.
the enemy. Exactly. And there's this panning shot of the shelf
Mhm.
with all the things that he could grab and take down there.
He does.
And there's I believe that there's like a chainsaw and like some other
a
stuff up
baseball
there.
He
bat,
takes
a
the
hammer.
chainsaw,
There's
Yeah.
a baseball bat, yeah. But he goes with the samurai sword. And I always thought that like that was such a cool...
Just when he sees it and he's just
Right.
like looking at it. And that song that's playing
Exactly.
too.
There's this nonverbal moment where he's just like looking at it and he decides that like that's what he's gonna take. Exactly.
Walks down.
And what's crazy is that he holds it with two hands, and like he in his mind you could tell that he just like embodied
You know
what
what they
would be
say?
holding that sword. And I thought that was so impressive.
People are saying that that's a like. So Quentin gives a reference in all his films of what his next film is going to be.
Mhm.
So the next film after that was Kill Bill.
Just so that you think that was like a nod to Kill
It
Bill.
was a nod to Kill Bill, like letting you know that what the next film could be.
Hmm.
Because they say that all his films revolve around the last one. So if you look at the Hateful Eight, it's kind of Western, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the poster how it's set up Once Upon a Time, and like it's kind of like a Western. It's depicted as like a
Glorious
Western
Bastards
film,
has any.
and even the picture.
You know what's
It could
so
be.
brilliant about Pulp Fiction? And it's the thing you don't like. You said you don't like the stories coming together.
No, it wasn't that. I just didn't like the one story.
Oh.
Just that's the only thing. I just didn't like
The
the Gimp. I just didn't like that one story. That was the only thing I
I
didn't
thought
like. in
that
the
was
film.
like such like a.
so fucked. It's just
Well,
so
it's
crazy.
like a huge scene for the whole story, because then you end up seeing how he's like, alright, you can never come back to LA. Like, now we're cool because you saved my life. I'm gonna call the guys and we're gonna get the blowtorch and like get
Yeah,
medieval
get
on his
me,
ass.
Right.
And like, it's just that dynamic that they like
One of my
establish is
favorite
great.
lines. Yeah, dude, the one line where Sal Swallows goes, he goes, he's like, if he goes to China, I want someone hiding a bowl of rice for him to put a guy in his ass. But no, man, like back to that story, because every individual story, it's like you're watching a different movie, and the fact
Yeah.
that they all come together, like
Right.
Pulp Fiction is a perfect movie.
Or
It's
think,
a
or
10
think,
out
or
of
think,
10.
think about it's a good movie, but even with like Kill Bill, so we'll just put them together, part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what kind of balls you have to have as a director to make part 1 an action-packed movie, part 2 dialogue, whole movie,
He can do what he
sitting
wants,
across
man.
the table just talking,
Yeah.
and
that
it's
was
just
Hateful
as
Eight,
good as
yeah.
the first
It's good
movie.
enough,
You know how crazy that is to
Yeah.
do that.
I mean,
Like that's why it's like Kill Bill to me is just like, or the whole movie. She's in a freaking coffin,
Yeah, just punching.
just like
yeah.
just punching thing. You just have flashbacks about the 1-inch punch.
mm-hmm.
Like
I gotta watch Volume 2 again.
I've never seen Volume 2. I've only seen Volume 1.
really,
Yeah.
or even in
great.
Volume 1, dude. 20 minutes of the film, she's in a coma.
I know, yeah. Move your big toe.
Right,
Move
Wiggle
your,
your big toe.
right, and that's why I was like, damn, this movie's
Didn't-
so freaking dope.
I don't know how much you guys know about this, but didn't Uma Thurman like start to have a problem with Tarantino? Like there was a
She got in an accident.
Right, there was a dangerous scene that, and
Yeah.
he was telling her that like it was gonna be okay to do this
Yes,
scene.
and he says that's one of his biggest regrets.
Yeah,
Oh,
they-
yeah,
she
yeah,
ends
yeah,
up
yeah.
like getting
Because
hurt.
he hasn't worked with her. I don't think they worked together since that
Yeah,
accident.
Someone was telling me that he's actually he treats women kind of oddly on set. Like, women have reported that he's like, Like,
He
to get-
was-
to
he
get
was
him
by
in-
the Weinstein Corporation.
right. Well, he said to
They
get
rubbed
them into
off
like,
on
Takes a sip of water.
to get their like mood, like if you're supposed to be freaking out and shot, like apparently he like smacked one of them or like choked them or
Whoa.
spit on a girl or something like that. Like,
That's a little too much.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you know.
yeah, the people would write off like, oh, it's just Tarantino.
Yeah.
Kills a guy. Oh, no, he's fine.
They're trying to get in character.
Yeah. just
You
inspiration.
know what, I,
Just trying to
you know,
set the
you know what
scene.
I would love to see?
What?
I would love to see like a behind the scenes back when Leo broke his hand on the table
Mm.
in Django and smeared her face.
Mm-hmm.
Like after they said cut, like Kerry Washington. Yeah, I would love to see like
Yeah.
how did she react to that?
Yeah.
Because like let's say like in any situation, acting alone, if like you did that to me or I did that to you, I would expect you to be like
Freaking out.
Yeah,
seeing
I'm sorry.
red. Like you're seeing red
Yeah.
and like no pun intended, but like you would like literally put physical harm to me. I'm like I understand like that is like crazy professional, but like I wonder if Leo was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, blah, blah, blah.
See, man, I think that there's a reason why actors, it's like incestuous and you see the same actors in like a lot of things and stuff like that. It takes a really special person to be that way. Like, when I say special, I mean like somebody who's very flexible with those kind of situations where it's like, I don't mind having real blood on me. I can cry on command. I can do all these like weird emotional things that seem odd to us. So I feel like there wouldn't really be that much of a hiccup because they're so dedicated.
Yeah. She was probably happy that he did it. Like, oh, you made that scene.
Well, yeah, more like admiration. Like, wow, like that was so.
I'm gonna YouTube that.
Like, I feel like a normal person would be like, oh my god, there's blood on my face. But like when you're on that level of acting in a movie that's like as big as that, it's
trust me, you get used to it.
Yeah. Well, she acted very genuinely. Like that shriek was.
That's probably
like
a real shriek.
Yeah.
But
what's it gonna be?
I hope. One thing I hope is in his if. Number 10 is truly his last film. Please bring back Tim Roth. Tim Roth was the guy in the diner in Pulp Fiction, Bonnie's boyfriend.
Bring Harvey Keitel, dude. I want to see Harvey Keitel come back.
Yeah.
Or, who's Buck from Kill Bill?
Buck and I don't know fuck.
Yeah.
That guy. I don't know who
in
that
the trailer.
is.
Who gets?
Hold on, let me look.
Michael Madsen. You're thinking of Michael Madsen.
Who gets the snake to the face?
I think you're thinking of Michael Madsen. Isn't
no, she's talking about Uma Thurman's like the one who has the eye patch.
No, not the lady with. Well,
is it Mr. Bond from Pulp
She
Fiction?
kills Buck.
I mean, from Reservoir
Michael
Dogs?
Bowen.
No.
Bowen,
Uma Thurman kills Buck.
No. Uma Thurman kills the lady with the eye patch. When she gets there, the lady with the eye patch already killed Buck.
No, we never saw the lady with the eye patch get
Michael
killed.
Madsen, I think, the guy from Reservoir Dogs.
Lady with the eye patch never got killed.
He's making like a margarita.
She got her other eye taken out, and then she was just screeching.
No, but she gets to that trailer first before Uma Thurman. And she has a briefcase full of money. He's making margaritas. And then he opens the case to see the money, and the snake comes out and bites him. And then he's on the ground like,
You're right.
And then that's when Uma Thurman comes in.
The Black Viper.
Yeah. But then she takes out the other eye.
Yeah, but she doesn't die, right? The girl who's missing, who now has no eye.
I don't know. They just leave her like.
They just leave her just screaming.
And that seems to be a common theme with his movies. Just women on the ground screaming. Like,
Dude, you know how bad it scared me in part 1 when she goes to Vivica A. Fox's house. They're talking in case she has cereal, and she had the gun hidden in the cereal, and you just hear that blast. Dude, that genuinely scared the shit out of me.
That's what people were saying. Part 3 could be.
Like the little girl.
Yeah,
they've been rumoring that for so long.
Yeah, how they're like, you're gonna come for me when you're older.
Yeah.
She says that.
You know what my takeaway from that scene is that I always think about after they fight? All the cereals on the ground, Uma Thurman just walking around, you just hear the you're walking on the cereal, just crunching it. It's so funny.
That's such a good scene.
No, I don't know. I feel like the 10th film is gonna be so far from now, but it's definitely gonna be in the realm of like.
I don't think that far. How was the time in between Hateful Eight and this one?
Probably 2015.
That's so much pressure.
4 years.
It's not that bad.
I don't know.
There's probably so much pressure to make that last one. Like,
he probably has so many.
He put on himself.
I feel like he's the one person that's not gonna have that pressure.
Right. Because this was his biggest opening.
But what could it be?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of really great actors.
He did have Brad and Leo as the 1 and 2.
And Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Al Pacino
was there? I did not know that.
I mean, he's a pretty prominent character. He's not in it the whole time, but he's like a pretty.
I heard Margot Robbie's just like she does a really good job with Sharon Tate, but like Sharon Tate, but you don't like she's not like pivotal in the film.
There's not a lot of depth to that character.
Yeah.
Sheldon, and I think I wish you really seen it because
I had tickets, but we ended up going because I was exhausted. She was exhausted.
You basically saw it. You could talk about it. You basically saw it.
Because you know what's so funny?
If you guys talk about it, I'll be like, okay.
No. You know what's so funny? It totally flips your expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody
you think
thought
it's going one way.
I feel like everybody went into that movie thinking exactly the same thing,
Right.
and that's what's brilliant about it. We all thought it was going to be the same thing, and it was not.
Yeah, and I think that the trailers for this movie actually did a good job of throwing you off a little bit.
For sure.
Like what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is cool because nowadays, trailers are so like self-explanatory.
You see the whole movie.
Did you know that what's his name? Kevin Smith's daughter's in the film?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, it's her breakthrough role.
Wait, who?
She's
She's
one of the
in the Manson people.
Oh, really?
Not
She's one of the main girls.
Oh, here's a movie I want to talk about. So I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan.
By the way,
I love his
it's coming up
podcast,
on
by the way.
1219. Do you
He has a
have to listen
podcast.
one?
I don't
Yeah.
really listen to
Alright.
podcasts.
It's pretty good. Because he's really nerdy, so he
Yeah,
like
he's like
talks about.
superheroes.
Dude,
He had a podcast called Fat Man on Batman where he just talks
That's what
about
I'm talking
Batman.
about.
Dude, it was so good.
Dude,
I
but
loved it.
but he
I love
talked
that
he talked
guy.
about other stuff. Dude, what I love about him is that so
And I
He
don't
gave
want to forget
a-
what you're saying. So
No,
just-
he gave a review of Endgame before it came out. I know that you guys don't really care for superhero movies, but he was like crying.
Nerd.
Yeah, I
Like
hate those.
he was like explaining like not just like as a fan, but like from a cinematography standpoint, from a
Yeah.
directorial
He loves
standpoint.
comics, man.
Well, he just loves movies, like,
Yeah.
and when he talks about
He's a
them, like yeah,
Yeah,
He's a
that's
nerd.
I appreciate hearing him talk. About it.
What were we saying? Oh, are you talking about New Clerks?
No. So I'm a
Comes out
huge.
no Jane Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob. That's what.
So I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I love the View Askew universe. My favorite Kevin Smith movie. It's a mix
Dogma?
between.
Dogma. Yeah.
It's Chasing Amy.
I don't know if I've seen it.
Dude, that one's it's really dialogue heavy, but it's such a real movie, and I really love that. And the thing about Kevin Smith movies is the dialogue. It's awesome. So you have like these like everyday people and just anyway, it doesn't matter. So he made one movie. So he's been like dipping his toes in horror movies and things like that. And I told Andrew about this one. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called Tusk. You ever seen Tusk? Have you seen it?
I didn't see it, but I heard of
I
it.
watched a little bit of it. I didn't even tell you that.
Oh, you
I
did?
watched like the first 15 minutes of it with my brother, but because it's kind of low budget, like on that scene where I don't want to spoil it too much, but like the viral video scene, like how fake it looks.
So you turned it off?
He was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Is it
Okay,
like graphic or
alright.
something?
No,
Or
it's
is it, like,
not bad.
bad?
I'm not trying to deter anybody from watching because it seemed like it was gonna be really good, but that he just didn't want to watch it because of that. But go ahead, say what you were gonna say.
I mean that's fine, but it's just so fascinating because like it's such a crazy, it's just such a dark movie, and like I just think it's so funny how someone can make like a comedy movie, but they can also dip their toes in again like something that's just like horror. I just think that's
Yeah.
really cool how versatile a filmmaker can be. Like even like musicians and stuff like that too. But this movie, I really want you guys to see it because I want your opinions on it. Because
It's called Tusk.
yeah, there were scenes in the movie where I watched it with Aunt Mick. I got him into Kevin Smith, so it's cool. We like kind of geek out about it. So we watched it together, and there were scenes where he was laughing, and there were scenes where I was just not laughing. And like, I want your guys' opinion on it. So it
Where can
has
we, where
Justin
can we
Long.
watch it at?
It's on Netflix, I believe.
Netflix?
That's where we watched it. It has Justin Long, who's one of my favorite actors. I think
He's
he's
funny, yeah.
so talented.
Is this new or is it old?
2013, 14 maybe
No,
around that
Pretty old
time.
movie.
So
Have you guys seen Midsummer yet?
Mm-hmm.
No, so
No, wait,
never heard
I,
of it.
I thought okay, so I saw that and it seemed very. What's the movie with Nicolas Cage where he's trapped on the island of like pagan women? What is that movie? Wicker Man. Ghost
That's
Rider.
a
It
remake.
seemed very Wicker Man-y. Yeah,
Ghost
it
Rider.
is a remake.
So
Ghost Rider.
this movie, it's a long one.
National
It's
Treasure.
it's a 3-hour horror movie.
Yeah.
And it is messed up.
So-
Like, it is good. It's good. People are calling it like the greatest horror movie ever made.
Really? It was.
I'm not
getting
gonna.
much
I'm not gonna
Is it
call
the
it
same
that.
people that did Hereditary?
Yes.
Is
I
it?
liked Hereditary. a
You liked
lot.
it or you didn't like
I
it?
did.
I loved
Hereditary
Hereditary
was-
until the last 20 minutes, and I thought
I thought the
movie-
last 20 minutes freaked
So
me out the
many
most. I was
movies to
watching.
watch.
We'll have to, I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't want to spoil it.
Is
But the last
Midsummer-
20 minutes got me like.
Don't
again. I
don't
saw
say
it with
anything because
Steve.
I still have to say.
Dude,
I still
Steve
have to say
and I saw it in the theater, and like we were
Well,
involved
that's
in the
the
movie, and then everyone started cracking up in the movie theater. I'm like,
Yeah, I will say this forever. It depends where you watch a movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
That shapes your idea about it.
Totally.
Like, if you're watching it by yourself in your dark apartment,
Fair
in like
enough.
a creepy old apartment.
that's a
building,
good point.
Oh,
You're
It's all
gonna
about
you're gonna
your
feel
setting.
differently than if you're at a movie theater with people
So,
like, talking.
I'll give you a little synopsis on Midsummer. So, it's
somewhere.
it's a 3-hour movie. It's about this guy and his ex-girlfriend. They break up, and him and his friends they want to go. So they're getting back. A couple years go by, whatever. They're trying to get back together, whatever. And their friends want to go to this festival called Midsummer. S-O-M-M-A-R.
Oh, my buddy just saw this.
Dude,
he was telling me about
is messed.
is it like a
Oh.
music
Yeah.
festival?
No,
Do they
it's
play
like
music?
they pretty much they walk into a cult,
Yeah. It's,
and it has to do with Hereditary a little bit.
oh really?
It's,
Oh, well.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So it's like in the same.
I think
Yeah, I
it's
kinda wanna
it's-
watch that.
It's like in the same universe without saying it.
Hereditary's creepy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Hereditary's messed.
Hereditary
up.
was pretty unsettling, man. Like that was, and I thought it was gonna be like the run-of-the-mill horror movie when I saw the trailer, but it was pretty unique, and I liked that.
It was
It
unique,
was.
yeah.
It was different.
Those are the
Yeah.
best kind of movies, like Mother. Remember we were talking about Mother? Like that's one of the best movies
I
I've
feel
ever
like-
seen.
Okay, see, here's a funny thing. So me and you, we raved about that film. I showed all 3 of my roommates the film. They said it was the worst movie they ever watched.
That's the thing about these like kind of indie abstract movies, because it takes a different kind of audience. You know what I mean? It's like we were talking about it earlier, like an abstract painting, or like an abstract band. Like there's some music that's not for everybody. There's some films that's not for everybody. Because if you go watch like, I don't know, Halloween, you know what you're gonna see. You know what I mean? When you watch these like
or Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
This new Pet
Pet
Sematary
Sematary,
sucked. Did
I
you
was
see
so,
it?
I was
I
so
heard it was
disappointed.
But
I love Pet Sematary is one of my favorite horror movies, and
Yeah,
I saw it and I was so excited to see it, and I still like the movie, but they
I like the
changed
concept, but
It
they
is a cool
changed
concept.
like a couple very key things from the book and the movie,
Yeah.
the original, that like watching this one, it was hard for me to accept that they changed, and I'm like, well, I understand why they did it because it's 2019 and you kind of can't do things
right.
like the book and the OG movie. There's a scene, there's something that happens in the end of the book that they had to change in the movie that came out a couple years
It was like
ago.
a rape scene or something, right?
I like the remake.
So in the book, all the kids are tranced by it, and there's only one way to break the trance. They all have to do something very traumatic together to get over it. So they're all 12 and 13 years old. So to break the trance, the little girl has sex with all the boys,
Right.
and it creates a pact between them that they all have trauma that suffer together. In the latest It movie, they changed it, obviously, because you can't put that on screen. Like that's just really.
You could, but the rating would be in a way.
You're not gonna be able to
that
sell the
nobody
movie.
would go and see
You can't
it.
sell
Yeah.
the movie, and then you're gonna have a $90 million budget that you're gonna be in debt to pay back.
Right.
Like you can't, and it makes sense from a business standpoint, and also from a moviegoer standpoint. You want to get people to see this movie, and you don't want to depict that because then you're gonna have
Right.
an army of pitchforks outside the studio. Just like how could you do that?
Mhm.
Whatever. But what Darren Aronofsky did in Mother, he showed a brutal killing of a newborn.
Oh
and, like-
yeah.
And like he showed it, and like people were like, "Yo, this movie sucks," and I'm like, "Dude, that's like balls to do."
Yeah.
And like, it was for a brief moment, but like, you can't make that scene make the whole movie bad.
Right.
Like, it was a build up because you saw this rising action the whole time. You knew there was a dark looming, something was going to happen, and then like once you put everything together and like realize like the significance of what Jennifer Lawrence's character was and what the house was, then it makes sense.
So good, dude. Such a good movie.
Yeah.
So is Mother scary or is it disturbing?
Disturbing. It's
Disturbing.
not scary.
It's not scary at all.
How about Midsummer? Is this scary?
They trick you. They trick you in Mother though. When you see the trailer, you think it's a horror movie. Then you watch it, you're like, this is not a horror movie. This is something else.
That's what it was with Phantom Thread. Have you seen Phantom Thread? Paul
No,
Thomas
I don't
Anderson's.
think
It's
so.
Daniel Day's last movie. So you watch Phantom Thread. It's one of my favorite movies. It's excellent. You watch the trailer and you think like, so he's a dressmaker, and like the trailer makes it seem like it's really sinister. It's like he like kills the girls or something, but it's not. It's completely the opposite. It's a really good movie, and it's so funny how trailers do that. Like same thing with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you know I'm not trying to keep it.
I
spoiler
thought the
friendly,
trailers
but
were
it's
super
crazy.
vague. I thought they didn't even like show anything.
For Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I was like, because you're watching, I'm like, I think I know where this story's gonna go.
Yeah, that's what
But-
I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's
You
why I see it, I don't
see
know.
a failed actor and the Manson family. What do you think's gonna happen? And you
Right.
see Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate, so you know it's gonna revolve around Sharon Tate's infamous murder.
Yeah. So
And that's what
that's so funny. Like it's so funny. It's like you're led to believe what you're presented. I find that so fascinating.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me laugh.
I don't know, man. I'm not into watching like scary movies.
I love horror movies.
I can't watch it, but I feel like the fun of watching a scary movie is with somebody else. Like I'll watch a disturbing movie by myself.
To an extent. So the thing I'll say about that
But, like-
is like, yeah, but if you really want to get the grasp of the movie, I think a horror movie's best to watch. Like you said, Hereditary. If I watched it by myself, I probably wouldn't have said the movie was bad.
Yeah.
But
I
since
mean,
I watched it in a movie theater and people wouldn't shut the fuck up and they're laughing at certain
When
things.
you're by yourself, you get like the chills.
Here's my question to you guys:
Stuff.
is there a scary movie that at the time you watched it, like you had such a hard time like trying to sleep, like it actually really got to you?
Yeah.
And does it still get to you now?
No.
Sinister is one I talked
Oh,
about on
that's a
this
good
podcast.
one.
That's the only one that like after I watched it, I was
That
like,
movie's
oh,
messed
man.
up.
Yeah, dude, I had like a hard time like sleeping.
Shining for me for a very long time in my childhood.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're young and you watch that one, you know,
I
like
think
Yeah.
one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres. When
Really?
I, first,
The
I mean,
remake?
we
The
were watching
2003
those.
one.
Yeah, like that. I mean, I was probably like 14 or
Yeah.
like 12 or something, so it was really.
I remember you were like when Paranormal Activity
Yeah, that
came
one really
out.
spooky.
That's another
The
one.
one when I was younger was Pet Sematary. I remember we were
No.
watching it at Nate's house for his birthday or something. Where we just like rented like a whole bunch of horror movies. You know what the heck's going on? And they put on Pet Sematary. No one was really watching it. It was just like on in the background. and I haven't seen the movie since. And to be frank, I don't think I'm ever gonna see it. I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
But there was one scene. I'm sure you guys seen it. You can fill me in on it. But I remember it distinctly. It was like a redhead woman on a bed, and she was like really thin, and that scared the crap out of me. I didn't go to sleep that night. That really scared me.
Yeah, she was suffering. I forget what it's called. She suffers from a bone deformity and also like blood cell.
Dude, oh my
Something
gosh.
for
Umbrella Girl.
Oh yeah, that's
That was
something.
a crazy little.
Dude, but Sinister. The first time I saw Sinister, I was like, "Yo, this movie is
So scary.
wicked."
It's awful.
Sinister, dude, just man, the music. I'm telling you, man, that scene where they run over the guy's face with the lawnmower is burned into my mind. Like I, it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, how did somebody write this? Like, how did somebody come up with this? Like, he puts the camera on the lawnmower and then runs his face over. Like, dude, who's thinking about this? Like, you know, how do you write a scene?
Sinister.
Dude, it was
So
pretty
what
crazy.
happens in Sinister?
So in
Is that
Sinister,
where
this
people kill themselves?
no. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a long time. This guy he's an author / investigator moves into this house where there's been a lot of apparent suicides, right? And his kid has these night terrors where like he walks around, like he sleepwalks, but like kind of like screams. So like it's that's the kind of thing that doesn't make him too alert to what's going on in the house because he's used to dealing with that behavior, right? So what ends up happening is that in the basement of the house he finds like all these old movie reels of just like very casual family gatherings of like people hanging out at the pool and stuff like that. He's watching them, and then there's a B-side to every one of these tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And on the B-side, like it'll be somebody hanging out in the pool, and then he'll watch the other tape, and it's like they're like tied up in the water, like drowning, and somebody's taping like the whole thing, just walking around like showing you all the situations that they're in that are killing them. And he's just like, what is going on? And there's this one prevalent thing in every film, like there's this image of this guy, like this like weird little face, and like that face is actually alive in the movie. It's so hard to describe, but basically he's in contact with this deity that exists in imagery. So every time he sees it in the movie, it's actually like looking back at him. So like there's this really weird scene where he pauses the movie, like to zoom in on the face, and like it starts moving even though like it's paused. And it's so chilling, man.
It's a really wicked movie.
Yeah,
It's a good movie though. I think it was on Netflix. I don't know if it is anymore.
Yeah, I did a really bad job of describing it. But yeah, there's this one scene where there's a cookout, and everyone's outside and cooking, and then he watches the B-side, and it's just a lawnmower. It's at nighttime, and all you see is a lawnmower like just mowing the lawn at night, and it's just like for like 3 minutes, like there's just a camera on the lawnmower, and then you just see someone's face on the ground, and it just gets run over. Dude, I remember I was in the theater, bro. I almost like screamed. That's how like scared I was. I was like, oh my god, dude, it was horrifying.
You know what did that for me when I saw Hereditary in theater, and did everyone see it?
No, I want to watch that.
I'm gonna loosely explain it so he'll know what I'm talking about when he's
Plug it up
driving
my
the car
ears.
Mm-hmm.
and then the windows down.
Mm-hmm.
That part, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I think that probably caught me.
And then when he went home and he didn't sleep, and then the next morning, I was like, fam, like that's crazy.
Yeah, that scene was pretty wild.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm almost done Deadwood. I got 3 or 4 more episodes, and I'm gonna watch the movie, and then that's it. I'm gonna watch all of these movies:
Pulp
Hereditary, Pulp Fiction, Hereditary. I'm gonna watch
Sinister.
I already seen Sinister. It's cool. I think it's a really cool movie, but I don't think I'm gonna watch it again. Hereditary. There was one movie. It's called The Witch. Have you guys heard about this?
The Witch.
The
I think
Witch.
I've
It's a company called A24. My buddy.
A24.
Yeah, my one buddy I work with. He's a huge film guy.
They make a lot of really good films. They
Yeah,
make
there's
Hereditary
one coming
and
out.
Midsummer and the Jonah Hill movie. I can't remember the name right now.
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Great movie.
Really?
Great
Okay.
movie.
They're
So,
really
yeah,
good studio.
This one's called the Witch. It's critically acclaimed like out the wazoo, and I'm gonna watch that one. And then there's one that's coming out
Horror
with
movie?
yeah, it's a horror movie. It's The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and the guy from Twilight.
Yeah,
And
that
dude,
one's
that one
crazy.
looks really
Yeah,
cool.
that
Did
Yeah.
you guys see the trailer for the movie Scary Stories to Not Tell in the Dark?
I didn't see the trailer. I knew they were making
It's
it.
coming out, I think. next month,
That's like the
or
same
this
vein
month.
as like the Goosebumps movie, right?
Yeah,
It's just-
Yeah, but it's like you know how
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps was like for kids.
Yeah.
Like this one's like
No, it's not.
Goosebumps not for kids.
So
It's for adults
Adults
too.
can read.
so it's supposed to be for like the grown-up people that like,
I mean,
Grown-up
there
reading
are kids. There are kids in it.
Imagine like sitting on like the train or something. You just like look up, you see a grown man
Just reading Goosebumps with like a super bright, colorful cover that it has.
Dude,
Yeah.
was it you?
He
That
sees
we
you
had
reading
the
it, he's
joke.
like, "Better get chapter 3." Don't read it.
Dude, it was you. We had the joke like someone reading a book and it's so scary. They're like,
Yeah, well, because I had Ed on the podcast, and one of the questions I asked him was like, "Have you ever?" Because he read The Exorcist, and I was like, "Have you ever read a book that like just reading the scene scared you?" And he said the only scene that like really scared him was The Exorcist. Like he read.
You know what book like was like really, it was like eerie to read. The Shining.
Cat in the Hat.
Shining. And you're reading it.
You read
It's
that?
like- yeah. I read a lot of Stephen King.
Yeah,
novels.
I feel like The Shining
enjoy
gives you
I
a
enjoy them.
bigger story of like you get all the
It's so
context in this
long.
movie. It is. It's super
So
long.
It's a great story though.
Oh, and the sequel's coming out for The Shining.
Yeah.
What's it
why?
called?
Why?
Dream?
I'm
Miss
with
Dr.
Dom,
Dream?
man. Why?
Dr. Sleep? I forget what it's called.
Ugh. I don't know, man.
Just let it be.
Just let it be.
Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's based off the book.
That's what I
The
can't
book's a
stand
sequel,
about
too.
movies now. Like
Yeah.
like the sequels. Like
Well,
why
the-
can't
well,
they just
it-
come
it-
up with?
It's a whole story.
Time
It's
out,
one
time
whole
out,
story.
time out. It is a very long book.
It's like
And
this.
it's told,
It's like
yeah,
that big,
it's a
yeah.
very long book, and the
Yeah.
book's told in 2 parts. It's told when they're kids, and then it's told when they're adults. So, to
The-
make the movie...
The Canadian rendition had 2 parts, right? It was the young ones
so-
and then they come back.
So here's a misconception about it. So the movie that came out in the 90s wasn't a movie.
It was a TV
TV
series,
series. It was a, what do you call it, like a mini series?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
each episode was an hour and a half or 2 hours long, and it was 4 episodes, so it was 6 hours of medium.
Who has time for all this?
Yeah.
So it's like
no
like
way.
6 hours, right? So
Freaking nerd.
so what's the best way they could do it? Take the film, split it up into 2,
Mm.
and it's going to be close to 5 hours for both films together. Now, with The Shining's also told in 2 parts. The Shining and Dr. Sleep. Dr. Sleep is the little boy from The Shining. He
Mhm.
grows up, and that's what the movie's based off of.
But Stanley Kubrick's dead. Like
Yeah.
He ain't coming back.
do you hear me?
I'm,
Yeah,
with,
but-
I'm with you, man.
Or like the new they like made him look completely different than the one that I was used
Well,
to. So it's
because
just
that's the
like-
thing, because it in the book is an alien
Alien.
creature.
Yeah.
He's an
It's
alien.
such a cool lore.
Yeah, I would
And the best
Yeah.
thing about it, all the Stephen King books are connected.
Mhm.
So if you
Really?
ever see
Pet Sematary.
not pet, what the hell is it called? There's a reference to all of them. In
Are you
all
talking
of them.
about Dark Tower?
Dark Tower?
Yeah.
So I've read the book, and the guy, the Idris Elba's character,
Oh,
he
nice.
talks to this guy who's a traveler, and he said,
String a bow.
yeah, he was like, I went to this other galaxy, and then I ran into a deity who takes the shape of the things that you hate the most. He typically becomes a clown.
Mhm.
So you're reading on Dark Tower, and then they also reference The Shining in the Dark Tower. It's like in another universe, this man was going rabid on holiday with his like wife and
In the hotel.
son.
Right.
And then that's when you realize, holy shit, like all
Yeah,
these are all
Stephen
connected.
King is one of those people that I look at like, how? You know, like
How do you write that
did
many
you?
books
Lots of
that are
coke.
all bestsellers?
He did lots of coke.
Was he? Did he really do
Oh
drugs?
yeah, he was
Really?
He was a huge cokehead.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like every writer is, man. We were talking about that.
Freud did cocaine too.
But not necessarily
Okay.
cocaine, but just doing like a lot of drugs. Like,
Bro, think about this.
Like Hunter S.
Stephen
Thompson.
King has
Hunter
written,
S. Thompson, that's what I was
Stephen
talking
King
about.
has written over like 60 horror novels or something like that that are
Yeah.
all like bestsellers.
Mhm.
It's like, dude, like writing one book alone is hard.
Right.
He write 60
Which
something
he's a
books.
genius,
there was
man.
way more than 60 that
Right.
People just
that
have
he
that.
submitted.
Also, just where it's fiction, where you're building
And
it all
then
up
all his
yourself.
movies, all his books are getting remade into movies.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, that's crazy. By A24, I think they're making all his
Mist
movies.
is probably my favorite one.
The Mist?
I think that
the
concept
ending?
is so. The ending is just has scarred me
Sad.
forever. But like, I feel like the
Is that
concept
with
is really cool.
where it clears right at his feet?
Right as he kills his family.
It's so, so
And then the
crazy.
no more he has no more in the gun.
He has no, yeah.
And then the
Mist
the
is gone in
guard
the
or
military.
security, they like surround
That's
him.
it.
Like,
That's
him,
where
you
yeah,
killed
yeah,
your
yeah.
family.
Dude, like, I don't know, man. Like that's probably my favorite one. But I'm so amazed that all those stories came from one person's head.
One person dead. One person's dead.
It's
Yeah,
just
kinda
great,
fucked
man.
up.
But yeah, I have a lot of movies.
It's
to
the
watch.
worst one too. Like,
If-
that's the most twisted story he has. I think so.
The Mist?
No, it.
Oh, it.
I think
yeah,
it's definitely the most twisted one.
It's pretty crazy, man. There's so much I gotta watch now, dude.
There's a lot.
I'm gonna watch a movie today. I think I'm gonna watch.
I'm gonna watch one tonight. I've been trying to get Natai to watch Shutter Island for at least like a year.
Okay,
now.
It's a good movie.
I
It's
don't.
really
yeah.
good. I've seen it twice. It's been a while since I've last seen it though.
I don't know, man. That movie, I didn't think the reveal was cool enough. for me. Like I didn't feel like the payoff was good enough.
You didn't think so?
No, like that's
You
why it's
kind
not
of see
my
it
top
coming. They kind of give it away in the
Right.
beginning of the film when they're coming to the island.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of get, and because of his partner's being weird the whole time,
Yeah.
you kind of can think what's going on, but they do a good job of leading you away from it until the reveal.
Did I talk about Dogtooth on the podcast? Have you guys ever heard about Dogtooth?
No.
So Scalero is he's really into like obscure movies, and he put me up on this one. He put me up on Killing of a Sacred Deer and Dogtooth. And there's one other one I gotta watch. I keep promising I'm gonna watch it and I forget it.
David Lynch.
It's called Miss Violence, but I'm gonna watch it. But there's one called Dogtooth, and it's actually one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10. It's
All
about
time?
yeah, it's that good. I don't know. I think you guys like it because you appreciate art movies. So it's about this father and this mom, and they have 3 kids, and the dad keeps the kids in from society. Okay, so the only thing the kids know is what the parents tell them. So the kids have no friends. They have each other. They know nothing of the outside world. So the parents are teaching them words. So like, they'll be like, oh, like what is like? They'll be like, this is a cup. And they'll be like, oh, this is a shoe. You know what I mean? Because that's all they know. So that's all I'm gonna tell you. But it's a really, really good movie. I highly recommend it.
You know,
Sounds pretty creepy.
What's this one called?
It's called Dogtooth.
Dogtooth.
you know there's 2 movies that are obscure movies that I recently fell in love with. I told you the one. I'm having a hard time remembering that French movie I told you about with the people who
Oh,
get
the
tricked
acid
into
trip?
doing acid.
Yeah, dude, that one's crazy.
That's a fucked up movie. It's called.
What's that?
There's
Which one is that?
I don't remember what it's called.
It's
'Cause
called.
I told you. I told you like 5 months ago.
Baguette.
C'est la vie.
I watched it in Italian, and they were just like, "Yo, this movie is insane." I could find it on my phone, but the other movie that I saw that was crazy was Lars von Trier movie.
Antichrist.
Not Antichrist, the one after that. I can't remember the name either. This sucks. It has Kirsten Dunst in it. Melancholy.
Okay.
Oh God,
Dude.
it just sounds
Dude, that movie.
Oh, good.
Not sure I want to watch this.
Dude, I think that's like,
Oh.
like you said, like it's just like one of those that you're like, holy shit, this is like really artsy, and a lot of people are like, oh, this movie sucks, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But it was really good. Then also the one with the house one, the house with all the dead bodies. I can't remember the name of it.
House Party with Kid and Play.
That's the one.
I remember that one.
You ever seen a movie called Funny Games?
Yeah, I love the movie. Back in
Dude.
2007.
It's a warped one.
Yeah.
Fun
Yeah.
Games?
Especially Funny Games.
Tim
Yeah.
Roth.
Tim
Tim
Roth.
Roth's in
Yep.
that, yeah.
Tim Roth. And the thing is, the movie with Tim Roth in it is a shot-for-shot remake
Of the remake. Yep.
of the German movie. So like, if you watch the original movie, it's all European actors, and I think it's shot in German.
Yep.
The one that they remade, literally, they recreated
The
every
whole
single
thing, they
shot,
just did
every single
everything.
angle, shot for shot. And
That's
even
cool.
even panning, like just a pan.
Dude,
everything is like
pretty cool.
redone.
It's the most faithful remake I've ever seen, and that's alone is worth the price of admission. Just to
Yeah.
watch both films and be like, wow, like they really did everything the same,
and
just with
the
different
plot,
actors.
the twist in it is because the
Wait,
one character.
don't tell me.
Well, the one character he can break
He's a
the fourth,
dragon.
he can break the fourth wall.
It's
Yeah,
Brad Pitt.
So he can break the fourth wall.
dude, that's already saying too much.
Okay.
This is the premise of Funny Games. This family's on a vacation. You've seen it, right?
Years ago.
This family's on a.
Years ago.
I don't know, Ben, you haven't seen it, so I'm just
I've
saying
not
it.
seen
And
it.
for anybody listening, like, so this family is on vacation. They're taking a holiday, and they have these neighbors that play tennis. And so they're 2 boys that play tennis, and they're dressed in all white, like this tennis gear. And so the family is taking a holiday are the neighbors to these 2 boys, and the boys keep coming over and asking for like strange things. They're like, hey, do you guys have like any eggs or like any sugar? And they're just like, yeah, like, you know, it's just like, and it's a repeated kind of pestering of like, can I have this? To the point where they step inside the house, like they actually like stop waiting outside for stuff and they go inside the house, and they break the dad's of the family that's taking the vacation. They break his leg with a golf club. Like they just pick up his golf club and break his leg, and they close the door. And the rest of the movie is them taking the family hostage, and like they play these sadistic games with them. Dude, it's so crazy. Like it's really really dark. But there's this part later on that Sheldon was talking about
Yeah,
that just like it completely turns the movie on its head. And I highly recommend it to anybody that's listening or watching. It's one of those films that it's not a happy movie at all, but man, is it interesting.
Because Because here's this one part. So I'll just give a little. It's early in the movie, so he's like talking to the family like as they're being held hostage, and he's like telling them the game that he wants to play. So the camera's shooting him from this side. He's looking this way. He's talking to them, and then they're crying. He's like, "This isn't gonna go how they think it's gonna go."
Dude,
and then he goes right back, and you're just like,
That's cool.
you're like, "Yo, what the
That's
fuck
right,
is happening?"
yeah.
It's a very meta movie, and you have to watch it. I guess
That's what
in the
makes it
right
even
scenario.
sicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god.
Because he looks at the camera, he's like, "It's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go,"
It really
and he
gets
just
you.
goes right back, and like they don't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like only he can see what he's doing.
It's a unique horror experience. Like if you watch a lot of horror movies and you're like, all right, these are all the same. Watch Funny Games. Like that, it shakes it up.
It's like a low budget, just art film.
It's so simple. It's so simple as far as like set design.
Dude, it has a lasting impact too.
Oh my gosh.
Because like that movie, even the remake and the original, you can see its like DNA
right
in films today.
Yeah,
Like
it's
certain things,
definitely
especially for like the home invasion
Let me
type.
check that out.
film.
That's what's crazy about these movies, just the divide. That's why I was kind of nervous about recommending Dogtooth, because I don't want you guys to watch it and be like,
His aunt messed up.
no, it's not
I
that.
just
It's not
remember
that.
The house
No.
that John built. That's what it's called. That messed up Lars von Trier movie,
Oh, okay.
bro. It's this guy. Sorry to cut you off, but it's this guy.
Who builds a house?
Dude. He's a mass serial killer
Okay.
who wants to get and the whole film he's talking to the devil, and they're having a conversation, and he's depicting his events to how gone in life, and he keeps saying, "I want to get caught, but there's some reason why I won't get caught." So he kills this one person. Like it's like an impulse. He has OCD, so he gets this, and he always thinks that after he kills someone, there's blood, like a speck of blood. So he's like, doing this stuff. He'll leave, then he'll think in his head, like a picture frame. He'll like in his head, he'll see him take off the picture frame, and somehow he'll kill someone in the bedroom. He'll be in the living room. There's like a speck of blood there, and he's like,
Right.
which is like impossible because you killed him 2 rooms over.
He's
So
super
he'll go
paranoid.
in there, super paranoid, right? So then he realizes that the cops are starting to come. He ties the body to the back of the truck to get away, and he knows he's going to get caught, right? And he's expecting it. Dude, downpours.
Right.
Torrential downpour.
Okay.
Gets rid of all the evidence.
Nice.
And he gets this freezer facility. And the movie it's like 3 hours. And
Well,
Lars
some of
von
these
Trier.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
right.
man, I need like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Dude, I need like
dude.
an hour movie.
But dude, those are like the movies that are like, I don't know, they're like kind of worth it because you're like, dude, this movie's fucked.
You need like a
Like,
whole
Hereditary was long as
watch
hell.
all these
Right,
movies.
man.
Hereditary's not an easy watch. That movie's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I feel like a
But-
3-hour movie, my day's already shot. Like I can't do anything.
Yeah,
That's why you gotta watch it.
like
You
at
gotta watch it
nighttime.
in the
Yeah.
morning, or you gotta watch it when you're ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's when I watch TV. Like I barely watch it, but Deadwood, I wait till nighttime to watch it because it's like a nice okay, I can go to bed now. I've
Yeah.
done the day. It's a great unwinder.
Yeah.
But as I was saying about like these art movies, there's such a divide. That's why I was very nervous about recommending Dogtooth, because you could be like, this movie's amazing, or it could be like, Ant has really poor taste in movies. If this movie sucks, like what's he thinking about? But that's one because
Drugs would
after-
judge you, yeah.
no, after I watched it, the comments were like, this is one of the best movies ever made, like blah blah blah, and then it's just like, this movie is stupid. Like why would anybody watch it? So that's what's cool. Like I highly recommend it. Again, it's in my top 10, but. That's the cool thing about these art movies. You know what I mean? Because like you see like trailers of movies come. Gemini Man, it looks stupid, and you have Hereditary.
Like,
it's
who
a fucking
greenlit
brilliant
that
movie.
film? Who was like, yo,
That's
Will
what-
Smith and younger Will Smith, that's CG.
Yeah.
Like
Someone
film
was
is
just shining a check, like.
movies are such a great medium.
Here's the thing, like, for Gemini Man, the whole premise is like,
So funny.
you were the best on the Force.
I don't even understand what the name of the film has to do with anything.
Gemini
We just
twins.
shitting on Gemini Man.
Yeah.
Dude, how
I didn't
how
know
many?
Aquemini?
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
No, Gemini are twins, so it's like he sees himself.
Okay, then that makes sense, but it's like,
But it's just like, how many movies have you watched? I was talking about this with Ant, where it's just like, Rob, you were the best on the Force.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
we could never find someone to replace you, so we cloned you. Like, there's so many like,
and
like
his clone's
premises
trying
like
to
that.
kill him.
But see,
What?
if the pull of your movie is like, oh, watch an actor interact with a younger CG version of himself, that's not enough to get me to watch
Yeah.
it. Like, especially
Will
with-
Smith doesn't do it
Yeah, Eddie
anymore.
Murphy did that a while ago. Right? Didn't he do that?
I think
He
the
played like 5 characters. Like 10
Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
I think the idea of a bad movie is so,
It's so
funny. So I
Yeah.
was with my, I was, guys, this is a great story. So my dad's like, oh hey, you want to watch movies? Like look at the movies. I never watched movies. I was just like sitting on the couch. I think I was playing a game or something at the time. I was like, sure, why not? So he goes, oh, here's one Al Pacino, Hangman. So it's like Al Pacino, so you think it's gonna be good.
Right.
This is the worst movie ever made. Like,
Hangman with Al Pacino?
it's
what
called
year is
Hangman. It's probably like 2012 or something like that.
Oh,
Me and my brother joke about it all the time.
Oh my God.
So like,
He's like
Wait,
dying
hold
the first 2
on.
minutes.
Before you dive into this, your dad never saw it.
no,
Oh,
he
okay.
just he saw Al Pacino and he's
Okay.
like, well, here we go, we're
Alright.
gonna watch a movie.
He said, "Oh,
Guys, this is probably one of the worst movies ever made. I recommend watching it just to see how bad it is.
I can't.
Seriously, it's really
When
bad.
I watch a bad movie, I feel so bad about myself. Like I wasted time.
But
Yeah,
you're
you remember-
going into it bad.
Do you remember
You
that
know
Robert
it's bad.
Downey Jr. movie? Not Robert. Robert De Niro movie where it's his horror movie with his little girl with imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Hide and Seek.
Hide and Seek.
I thought that movie was awful.
The movie sucks. I'm sorry.
It was terrible.
No, but so like when I was saying about Hangman, it's like I was like watching the movie. I was like, Dad, why are you still watching it? Turn it off. He goes, no, I gotta see it through. So the movie ends, right? My dad gets home. He goes. And it turns out, dude, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. So me and my brother have this joke, like, hey man, like, could you imagine going to the video store or just like Walmart and buying the movie? My brother's like spending $19.95. I'm in Walmart one day just like looking at stuff, and then I look for Hangman specifically, and I find it, and I was like, right here it is. He's like, no way.
How much was it?
It was $19.95.
are you serious?"
Oh my gosh.
Guys, this was
$20 for a movie?
such a bad movie. It was awful.
It's getting more expensive now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
It's
know.
like $60 for a 4K.
It's just more of a push for you to stream. But yeah, when I watch a bad movie, dude, I feel terrible. Like I feel like I have to like I actually feel sick. Like I can't believe I spent 2 hours for that. It's awful.
Do you guys ever stop a movie or do you just watch them in full?
I feel so guilty stopping anything.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Because I have so much faith. I'm like, maybe it's the wrap up is gonna be worth
Yeah, the
it. Like
payoff.
maybe it's gonna be good, you know?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of movies that are like that, so
That's
Yeah,
why I stick
so
with like
much.
classics in a way, like the ones that are well known. For example, like last summer I did a list where I watched all the movies that I wanted to see. So like I finally saw Good Will Hunting, and I've never seen it before, and I watched it. I was fucking blown away. It's such a good movie.
can I say your idea for the viral video prank that you want to do based
Sure,
off?
just make sure no one takes it. This is my idea.
Yeah, this is now copyrighted.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is Anthony's idea. So and we just like it was such a random conversation we were having, but it's like I want to do this video called Good Will Hunting where I have somebody dress up as a deer, like in a deer costume, and run into the Goodwill store, the actual store, and then somebody else dressed up as a hunter and chase them through the store.
I'm so mad.
When they get
That would,
stopped.
you know what? That would actually go.
Just when they get stopped, it's just like, what are you doing? Oh yeah, this is Goodwill Hunting.
Is your mind blown?
So dumb.
It's the dumbest thing ever. But yeah, what were you saying, man?
What other movies did you watch?
Yeah.
Last summer, I watched The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master.
TV show?
No, it's a movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh,
It's
rest
his.
in
I think
peace.
that's one of his best roles in The Master. It's pretty long. It's not like this like movie where it's like, oh my god, it's one of the best movies ever made. Like There Will Be Blood, I think is a lot better. But Paul Thomas
Mhm.
Anderson said that's his favorite movie that he made. He said no matter what movie I make, I'll always The Master will always be my favorite.
Interesting.
I forget what else I watched.
The worst contemporary movie I've ever seen was the one where everyone's doing the magic tricks. You know which one I'm talking about? Like The Illusionist or
Now
something
you
like
see
that?
me or something?
Dude, I hate that movie so much.
Why?
I hate that movie so much. My friend literally was like, dude, this movie's awesome. And we watched it.
This movie's awesome.
The whole
It's all CG.
No, it's just like
Says that.
the point of watching magic and being impressed by magic is because it's a live performance and you're actually there and seeing it. And you're like, how did I do that? Because there's no cutaways or anything like that. There's no edit. It's film. It's all live in front of you. So for me to see magic in a cinematic context and I'm supposed to be impressed, of course I'm not impressed. It's a movie. Like, and people actually watch it like, wow, like that was so amazing. It's not a trick that is being demonstrated. Like, this is all post-production. Anybody who defends that movie, I have to talk to them too, man.
Did you ever
because-
watch The
I
Prestige?
don't know anyone that defends.
So, okay,
David Bowie's
Did
in
you like that
movie.
one?
you know what?
And what?
Prestige was
Prestige?
directed by Christopher Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's the one Christopher Nolan film I don't like.
It's another magic. But that's like in a time where Houdini's like the king, and it's these two guys, and they're like rivals in like
Yeah, it has a
That-
cool twist. I
that
seen
type
it,
of
yeah.
magic. Yeah, that twist was nuts.
I don't know, man. Like that, the
What a twist!
Houdini?
whole point of it.
I can't talk bad on Christopher Nolan.
I don't know, dude. Like that movie made me so mad. I remember watching that, and my friend that was like making me watch it fell asleep, and so like I was the only
Isn't that the
person
worst?
watching
Someone's telling
Drew,
me
you
to
gotta
something.
watch this movie.
it. Look to the right. It's just
You ever
asleep.
seen the movie Her? Where Joaquin Phoenix.
That's
Yeah,
the one
I
with the
watched
guy
that
falls
a
in
few
love
months
with
ago.
the robot.
Yeah,
that
that's
movie's
really good.
so good.
He falls in love with a computer, right?
His
It's like
cell
Siri.
phone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's really sad.
Operating system.
It is sad.
It's very sad. But it's so funny because it's like I feel like that's such a really interesting take on the
It's
modernization of
crazy
the
how
world.
that
where-
came out like 8 years ago, and it's like kind of what's going on now.
It's so funny because I guess it's kind of a twist. He's like, I've been dating my AI system, and the girl's like, I've been dating mine too. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that movie's really, really cool because it's such a non-traditional love story.
Ex Machina, that's another good one.
Never seen it. It looks
Or
cool.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina, yeah. I've seen that
Ex
movie
Machina.
so many times.
Chunka?
Yeah.
Chimichanga?
I watched Blade Runner again
I love
yesterday
it, yeah.
for like the 10th time.
The original Blade Runner?
No,
Oh, the 2000.
2049.
Yeah, that movie is just insane.
I'm still laughing at the idea of bad movies.
Yeah, man. If now you see me, dude. If I ever met somebody that now you see me as their favorite movie, I don't think I could talk to them or be around them. Like it would tell me everything I need to know right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Would you date a girl that her favorite movie is Now You See Me?
She's like, I have this really good movie I want to show
I'd be
you.
like, 'cause
You're like,
I
alright, I'm
know-
down to
I
watch
love
it.
that movie.
I know you're irrational, just by default. If you like
She's
that
like
movie.
bad though.
And you know who I don't like?
I love
I'm
this
sorry to
movie.
be so negative right now, but the guy who plays Lex Luthor, what is
Jesse
it?
Eisenberg.
I don't like him, man. I don't know anything.
Very pretentious.
Why is he
Anything that
Lex
he's
Luthor?
in, anything that he's in, I'm just like turned off right away.
He's like Lex Luthor's son, I think.
Oh.
Or he is Lex Luthor, I forget.
Yeah, dude, I don't like him. And then, who's the guy who's in
Woody Harrelson?
No.
Dude, him and Now You See Me, I'm just laughing. Because you think about how much I hate that, I just picture Woody Harrelson, I'm like, alright, like...
Dude, my outlook on
He is a shoot car.
my outlook on Woody Harrelson changed after True Detective. After watching that, I was like, dude, this guy's like a really good actor.
Everyone raised... I think I'm going to watch it after Deadwood.
What's True Detective?
Yeah, because
Dude,
everyone raised
season
about
one
season
is
1.
insane, and season 2 is like, season 2 was bad with
Yeah. Vince Vaughn, right?
Vince Vaughn and I forget not Clive Owen, I forget the other guy's name. And then season 3 with Mahershala Ali, dude.
He was
that-
in the Green Book, right?
Yeah. But I didn't see that movie, but I heard it was bad. Is that with the driver?
Yeah, I heard
The
it was
driver,
like.
right?
Ant swears by that movie.
I heard it was like.
I heard it's like really
Don't-
pandering.
Yeah, like look, this Italian guy is friends with the black
Black
guy.
guy in the
Yeah, yeah.
South in the 60s
Wait,
or
yeah.
50s.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, wait for your mind to be
Oh,
blown.
wait, here's the weird part. The black guy's richer than the white guy.
Yeah. And he still sees him as a friend.
And they coexist.
Yeah. But yeah,
Oh, I'm trying to think of that.
I wanted that role.
I'm trying to think of that other actor I can't stand.
You know what's funny? So we talk all this stuff about like movies and music, and sometimes books are brought up. You know what I mean? Books are kind of like no one really reads books a lot anymore. But you know what's one thing that we do not talk about? I don't think anybody talks about theater.
Would you go to one?
Yeah, I've seen a few. Dude, I think the
I
theater's
think
cool.
I've only seen one, and that was The Lion King on Broadway.
Theater's cool, man.
I try and make it out to the theater every once in a
Oh,
while.
the theater.
I had a class in
I
college.
would like to see Hamlet. I heard good things.
What? There's no way I'm gonna sit through something
Like
like
a
that,
Shakespeare?
man. Oh, there's no way I can sit through like a Shakespeare thing.
No, wait, is
Shakespeare's
it
cool.
Hamlet?
Doth thou thy
The hip hop one?
Not
I bite
interested.
my thumb.
No, the hip hop one.
What do you mean?
It's Hamlet, the hip hop one. Unless I got
That's
the wrong one.
Hamilton.
That's
Hamilton.
Hamlet's the
Hold on.
Shakespeare.
Hold on. Oh, that's the person I can't stand. Sean Penn. Anything with Sean Penn in it, I'm not
He has
interested.
very punchable news.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's another actor I just can't
Fast
stand.
Times at
He's on your
Ridgemont
bad
High.
side.
I don't know what it is.
Wait, you don't like Milk? It was very progressive.
Harvey Milk?
Harvey Milk? Cool guy.
Harvey Milk?
Harvey Dent.
You know what's a really great movie? And we gotta wrap up soon because it's almost 1 o'clock.
The Dark Knight.
Drive. I love that movie.
I love Drive.
Is that...
What is
Wait,
it?
am I thinking Baby
That's
Driver?
a Ryan Gosling, and he has this like.
That's a good
He has like a
movie.
scorpion on his jacket,
Yeah.
and
It's
he's
like
just
4
like a
lines of
silent
dialogue.
killer type. Yeah, dude. That movie is so cool.
He goes to the Yakuza now?
There, no.
No, not at all.
There-
He's just this stunt double in
I think I'm going to
Miami,
the-
and like he just
He's a
kills
getaway
people.
driver.
Yeah.
For robbers.
Right, he's a stunt driver by day and a getaway driver by night, which is such a
Is
cool.
that
thing.
based off the video game?
No.
No.
This is a video game.
Drive?
Driver for the PlayStation
Driver.
1. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And Driver 2. It's 2 days.
No, that movie is cool, man.
There was a kid in my college who wore that jacket everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Johnny Cool?
Dude, have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, the jacket's sick. It's like this like
Yeah.
shiny pearl, like weird. I don't know
It's-
what material. it
It's
is.
all
like
white and it has like a diamond embroidered pattern on the back, and there's just like this big
Big
scorpion.
gold
thing.
scorpion.
Oh, dude, it's super cool.
I wouldn't
Everyone
fuck
got
that
out of
guy.
this kid's way.
Oh,
He was
dude,
going
please.
to the cafeteria.
Yeah, there's a scene where he murders some guy with a hammer, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
my god.
Good heavens!
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, go watch that. That's been on Netflix for ages.
Yeah. So what's all the movies everyone has to watch?
I could send you guys a
Hangman
list.
with Al Pacino. Now You See Me.
And Now You See Me too.
Hamlet.
I'm gonna go watch Midsommar, and I'm gonna go watch.
I think it's still in theaters.
I know. I'm gonna go find it on the internets, maybe. Right?
I'm going to watch it on the internet.
Get illegally down.
Hey Ben, don't say illegal.
That's illegal.
Dreams are illegal.
Dreams are legal.
No, actually, in all due honesty, today I'm probably gonna watch Wolf of Wall
Now
Street.
you see.
Nice, man.
That's
Nice.
it.
Has anyone here
Nice.
watched The Bullies on Amazon yet?
No.
No.
What?
Is that an
Bullies.
Amazon original series?
Uh-huh.
Dude, you're such a nerd. You know about everything, man.
Because I'm fucking in tune.
But he doesn't know about the theater. None of you know
What do
about
you
the
know about
theater.
acting?
There's a Hamnet.
Alright.
You should have somebody like that on the podcast. It'd be so
with
funny.
the big like puffy hat.
Movies, film, no, it's all about the theater.
He has a pipe, he's like, you smoking tobacco? He's like, no, this is water vapor.
He's like, moving pictures, what are those?
I scoff. Scoff at your films.
You go to the movie theater, I go to the cinema.
Alright, man, I think we're all talked out, and I have to go to the bathroom. So
I
this
gotta
has
pee too.
been- Yeah, this has been
We all should
episode...
go.
Together.
Together.
Sword fight.
It's been episode 72 where we just talked your face off about movies.
And the theater.
Yeah.
Now
So-
leave us alone.
Go watch a movie that you love, and thank you for listening.
Hug the ones that you love.
Love the one you with.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
What a show!